Hey guys, I hope everything is going well tonight. It is another tasty Tuesday. Had to make sure I wasn't muting myself. Always fun. We are going to have a little fun tonight. Let me make sure everything else looks pretty good here. I think we're going to just basically have a free for all show and tell. And if somebody stops by and drops by that wants to come on the show, I'll send them an invite and say let's go. Speaking of let's go, good to see you. There's Silverlock. What are you sipping tonight? The Tonight's going to be kind of a just a show and tell free for all. Eric is busy this week, but we're going to get back together next week. And this week, I thought, well, I pulled a few bottles out just to see. I wanted to go in depth on one of them. It's a brand new one that I picked up. A couple other older ones, but always fun to talk about some favorite whiskeys and reasons why. What are you sipping tonight, Silverlock, and what's the reason why? I decided to have a warm up dram, and if it's your warm up dram, let me know. I'm curious if it's your warm up first one tonight, or if it's like your second or third run. For warm ups, I usually start kind of low ABV, lower. I usually don't try. I try to stay away from 40 ABV at all possibilities, unless there's a main reason I can't get it to at least 46 if I can get there. 43 is acceptable minimum. 46 preferable. 48's like the sweet spot. 50 somewhere around there. But I decided to start with 43 tonight. 43 ABV. But I did want an age statement. I did want something light, something Highland-esque, we'll say. So for me, I decided to start with the old Dalwhinnie 15s. To me, it's like the perfect intro to Scotch for people that are not Scotch drinkers, that are bourbon drinkers that want to get like into the game. Um, it's not too pretentious. It's not too like entry border basic either. It's kind of like I think a great first step for people that are lucky enough to get help. This is where I would steer them for a first dram. And I think it's a good way to start the evening. It's not, not peated. It does have fruit, vanilla, things like that, but it's not anything that I would deem any major, specific note. Just for just for giggles, I could go into my own notes on this one, but I'm not going to go take an awfully long time on it. But just to give you kind of an idea of a basic profile to this, I'm going to say before I even look it up, I'm going to say definitely fruit, definitely vanilla. It's still on the sweeter side of things, I'd say. Sweetness. Let's see what a distiller calls it. Sweet and rich. Pretty similar. They do beef up the fruits, vanillas, sweet, rich, full, floral. That's another thing that the Delmonte 15 does have that I don't really get into as much, but it does make a dram more complex, and I appreciate florals, even though it's not my wheelhouse. We'll say I still like them, especially when I get my fruits and vanillas, and if it's a nice, sweet, oily, rich type of dram, that's hits a home run for me. Even if it's not smoke, not peat, not sherried, that can still be a winner, and this is a good example of that. The Kilkerran 8 cast strength bourbon mature. That's a hell of a warm up dram. If that's a warm up dram, man, that sounds like you've already maybe hit the ground running. Maybe you had a previous dram to this one. Let me know if it's your first one. Good evening, Chris. Really appreciate it. Good to see you, one. Good to see you, Andrew. Had a G&T earlier before dinner. G&T, is that let me think. Is that a Scotch? G&T. I'm not familiar with that one. Let's see. Sure. Oh, gin and tonic. Duh. I should have known that. I was like, G&T, what the hell? That makes sense. Well, there you go. That's a hell of a warm up too. Yeah. Never heard it put that way. I don't know if it's a northern thing, because I never heard that in the South, but maybe it comes from that, and I just never heard it. Never been a huge gin fan, so that might explain why I'm don't not down with the gin and tonic. But the vodka tonic, that's a different story. I do like my vodka. Just opened a Gordon McPhail Milton Duff 10-year-old. That actually sounds intriguing. I've been doing a lot of searching on different distilleries. As you guys know, as you can see from the wall of it might be a wall of shame for some of you guys, because I know some of you guys are like, I can't believe Telex is buying some of these distilleries that I absolutely hate. But I am actually able to find a glimmering gem usually in a distillery. It might take me a while. It might be my fifth or sixth, seventh bottle, but I can usually find a gem, and I've been lucky enough to hit a lot of these expos and had tastings and whatnot where I've been, even if I haven't bought my own bottle of it, I probably have tried it. And with that said, I have noticed there's been some tough ones that you don't really want to go down there. And Milton Duff is one of those where it's like, for a distillery bottle, it's really hard to pull the trigger on something that I know nothing about, and it's probably not going to be that great. Now, independent bottlings like Andrew's guy here is a different story. Those are typically already like vetted by someone else. They're picking casks, and they're picking finish, or they're picking like a maturation that they want, and they're going with even a particular age statement they're looking for, and that's where these guys can come into play and actually pick something usually pretty special if it's a good independent bottler. And Gordon McPhail usually gets it right from what I've heard. I've had personal good ones from them. I've had a personal couple misses, but I don't think it's necessarily their fault. Sometimes it's just the character or the portfolio of the distillery. Sometimes they just have what you want, sometimes they don't, kind of thing. Good to see you there, Cohen. But I'd like to see what you think about that one, Andrew. And yeah, and guys, if and same goes to Silver Lock. Let us know in the chat what you think of it. Just say K8CS, and just say, hey, I liked it a lot, or I didn't think it was up to snuff, or I thought it was mediocre, or I thought it was outstanding. Let us know what you think. Good to see you, man. What'd you bring to the old show and tell tonight? I'm starting off with a Dalwhinnie 15, just as an icebreaker, just kind of a nice way to get the palate energized, get it flowing, get the juices going. Happy Tasty Tuesday, everybody, tonight too. And thanks for sticking around. I know it's a little later than Eric usually starts the happy hour at 8. That's Malt Muser Whiskey. If you're not familiar with him, check him out, subscribe, give thumbs up if you don't mind, if you do enjoy it. And hell, for me, if you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. I'll take that too. But I'd rather have a thumbs up if I can get one. I'll take what I can get. But he goes on usually with me tonight. He's not going to be able to make it, but we're going to be back in the saddle next Tuesday. But this is why I'm having a few bottles and talk with you guys about a couple experiences I had recently that was kind of intriguing. That it was an eye-opening experience. I'll share with you guys. That was kind of cool. But decided to pull out the Kilkerran 8 just because I haven't had it in a while. Bottle has been open for more than a year, so just wanted to see how it's doing. Yeah, that's always fun to do. Silver Lock Whiskey Club's got a great idea. Sometimes, if I approach a bottle and I might like sort of like it, but it might not just be exactly what I'm looking for, I'll put it to the side for a few months and come back. And sometimes it takes 6 to 8 months, believe it or not. Oxidation is a good thing for some of these bottles, but they they can really be blessed by doing this. Some ones like the perfect example for this for me was the Kalila 17 unpeated. Was horrible before oxidation. 2.75 for that kind of bottle to me is just sacrilegious. But thankfully, after some oxidation, forced oxidation, it was a great 4.75 out of 5 bottle after that for me. I loved it afterward. Yeah, it's a gin thing. That's just not me, but that's okay. Vodka, I'm with you. And got a Compass Box Oak box yesterday for $53, and I would take it over that. I would take that over that Diageo product because they are both Diageo malts. That's a good point. That's true. The Delany 15 is also a Diageo, and it's kind of it's kind of twisted to me because thankfully Diageo doesn't really mess around with Dalwhinnie's system. They basically have three offerings. They have an NAS, which is the Winter's Frost, and it's okay. It's nothing to get all excited about. They have their staple, the 15, and they have a 15-year Distiller's Edition, which I also have been enjoying lately. And that's more of like a honey bomb. It kind of reminds me more of like an Elberfeldy or like a what's a really good honey bomb that's like that realm. You know, got what I'm shooting for. Maybe like a Cardew has that kind of profile. Um, those are like the more honey esque malts. But anyway, but yeah, Oak Cross. I need to try that one. I haven't had a lot of the Compass Box, even though I've had a lot. It's like I've had some, but I haven't had all of them. I hear you there, man. Got to have a gin and tonic to kind of settle down. Just ordered a Senatory Strathmill Sherry finish. 14-year and a Ben Nevis 6-year peated sherry matured from Cairnmore. These both sound great. What do you think of both of them? Let us know what your feelings are on both if you don't mind. If you are have the time to do a nose, palate finish, feel free to do that too. I'm I'm learning from you guys as I go on these independents. So I'm getting ready to dive into some independent bottles. Good to see you there, Whiskey Nose. I love the nose, man. That's like that's a well done graphic. I got a Mortlock 12 cast strength sherry butt single cast independent bottling for $60. Okay, that's a hell of a buy, especially if you like the savory profile of the Mortlocks. The is it got that savory profile? Do you enjoy that the most out of the Mortlock, or is there a different kind of characteristic that you like out of that Cohen? I'm just curious. I think you usually like their stuff, if I'm not mistaken. This Milton Duff is bottled at 43, but pretty decent on the neck pour. First fill and refill sherry cask. Huh, it doesn't say non-chilled natural, but reviews of it say that it is Milton Duff. Yeah. Who is the let me go back and you told me it was Gordon McPhail. I think they're pretty good about craft bottles, but I don't know. I'm not sure if they're consistently. Someone could probably speak to that if Gordon McPhail's are really good about consistently not coloring and chill filtering their stuff. Just curious. Thumbs down the stream. What? No, I'm saying if that's what it takes to get a reaction out of people, I'll take it. I want to get a thumbs up if I can get it, but don't thumbs down me unless you really hate it for some reason. Oh man, which Kilkerran ate? The young bourbon, the burnt sherry, young sherry, or the egg fart sherry? Wow, that's quite a spread. I was lucky enough to have the first one, which I believe was the young bourbon. And I do agree. It was the first approach to that whiskey was rough. And I was kind of surprised because I love some Kilkerran 12. I'm not too huge on the 16. I thought I would like it more. I'll be honest with you guys. I was a little let down by the 16, just a smidgen. It's not a bad whiskey. It just didn't have the same surprise and oomph and complexity I thought that the 12 had. I don't know if I'm missing something or what, but the I had the same kind of similar experience of the Cast Strength 8 first edition, but after some oxidation, it actually got better. And I think that one also was helped by a bit of water, if I'm not mistaken. That one was I could get it to a point that I really enjoyed it, but I had to work a bit to get it there. That was the rough part of that whiskey to me. But I'm speaking of the Kilkerran 8 cast strength. I don't have the bottle out here, but I know exactly which one you're talking about. I had a bottle of Delwhinnie 15 a couple years ago. I have a sample and a drinks event calendar. Enjoyed it, but I haven't had Delwhinnie since. Should we try it? I would suggest, Andrew, to get the Delwhinnie 15 Distillers Edition. It's not labeled as a 15, but if you see any Delwhinnie Distillers Edition, it's 15 years of age. The big difference is the regular 15 straight up ex bourbon. I'm pretty sure. No, it's also like Solo Rosso sherry, but I will say that the even though it's both bourbon and sherry on the regular 15, that distiller's edition. Let me make sure I'm not messing something out of this before I say it, because I don't want to say it gave the wrong thing. Because I definitely detected Oloroso sherry on that one more so. Yeah, it's finished at least in a Oloroso sherry cask on the distiller's edition. So with that said, man, I would definitely recommend that as a, an alternate bottle if you're looking for a different Dalwhinnie. Winter's Frost was okay, like I was saying earlier, but it's an NAS, and I don't think it's near as good. I mean, it does have some nice buttered, like sugar cookies, shortbread, that kind of thing. But unless you're really into Highland light whiskey, I would probably, I mean, try it if you can, but I would definitely get the Distillers edition of the Dalwhinnie first. I feel that the KK8 Cast Express Spirit is more spirit forward. I like it better with a few drops of water. Yeah, yeah, a few drops of water and letting it sit. That was the perfect combination to me on the ex bourbon. Yeah, on that first release. I got the Ben Nevis 9-year cast strength first bill. Okay, single cast from Signatory. Great price for Ben Nevis. Hell yeah. That's one thing I'm gonna have to get is a signatory version of Ben Nevis, because I bet those are pretty damn good. Silverlock, gotcha. Yeah, if you get the water on that, that's not bad. First Phil Sherry they did, man. Yeah, I don't think I would have enjoyed that one from what I've heard. They have not arrived yet. I like Mortlock, but I don't buy Diageo bottlings. No, I hear you. No, I understand. I've heard like my own what's the word for it? My own intro to Mortlock. The first bottle I had was a not so good classic cask. It was like an 11-year Mortlock, and I used it for blending. I mean, it was good for savory notes, but that was just about it. It was rough around the edges. And after I had that, and I've heard some mixed reviews of classic cask bottles, I did never touch another one after that. So there's something to keep a lookout for. If you see the classic cask bottlings, be sure that you see reviews on it before you pull the trigger. I haven't tried the sherry one. I do have an open bottle. Oh wow. Yeah, you might want to unless you are a huge fan and want to and are definitely keeping it. You might want to hold on that to resell later. Just saying, if you're going by taste, the newest one he calls egg farts. It's kind of good if you don't mind sulfur. Yeah, that's how I feel about the Deanston Oloroso 20-year. It has that really intense amount. To me, it was a bit intense amount of sulfur on that. I don't mind sulfur sometimes, so if I'm in the mood for it, I have to I have to know to expect it. Then it's not bad. But if it's a complete surprise and if it's intense, I'm kind of like, But I'd rather have a sherried without the sulfur if I can get it usually. But if it's part of the fun, if it's part of the makes what makes it more balanced, I'll accept the sulfur, that's for sure. Sometimes it's good, depends on what it is, really. That's a good deal considering I bought the 12 AB3 for the 43 for 65, like the 16 for 95. Wow. Remus, that's a whole different thing there. Hey, good to see you there, Dram, California. You and Cohen are from there, I remember. How's hopefully you're still not at work right now. I know it's a little still early for you. What you drinking tonight, Dram? I'm gonna have my go into my little monologue here in a second. I was warming up with the Dalwhinnie 15. I think it's a great intro for the night. Get your palate kind of woken up in check. Only 43 won't blow it away. No casks, no crazy peak going on. Just good flow. No, it's the previous one. Good to see you there, Paul. I'm so glad you guys can make it tonight. We're having a good time getting caught up here. Almost done. Oh, yeah, they had a 30-year-old special release, only cost us $7 million. I have had my eye on that one, but it's just so. I just don't understand why they would skip 18, 21, and 25. Those 3-year statements, they could easily get some whiskey sold if they had the goods to do it. But man, what a mess. Because I would love to try a 21 to 25-year old for the price difference, because that price they want for the 30 is just way too high to put out for a Diageo executive. Oh man, we don't hold back here. We're not horrible to all the Edrington, Diageo. You guys are always welcome, but we are going to tell you how we feel. It might not always be, sugar and spice and everything nice. It's going to be sometimes a little harsh, and I am going to get into it about a distillery tonight. Matter of fact, let's get this started. Well, great intro, like I said, Downey 15. It easily found. You don't even have to go to a whiskey specialty store to find Downey 15. Usually, I've found them in the wild pretty much everywhere. Um, if you're, this is for, it's usually about $70. It's nothing usually crazy expensive for a well-aged 15-year whiskey. That's the reason why I do agree with the guys. If you could find an independent bottling for Dalwhinnie, I would say definitely go for it, because if you can find the big four, I always go to. I think of Aquavite as Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's got the ABCDs of whiskey, the age, the ABV, the bottling. It's a colored and dye. If you want to make sure it's got a decent age statement, it's got it. You want to make sure it doesn't have any. Um, you want to make sure it's got a good ABV, and this one's 43. Independent bottling might get you, 48, 50%. So that's why you look for independent bottlings of these guys sometimes. Also, the coloring and chill filtering. Now, Diageo is not real wordy about the coloring on their whiskey, and I know they have done it in the past, and they probably do it to, this one is definitely for consistency. If they do use any coloring, it's a very light, ultra light whiskey. It's not but they might do some gradual coloring just to get them all looking consistent. That does happen, but the big thing also is chill filtering. It really affects the mouth coat to me on a whiskey, the overall flavor profile, the pureness, the clarity of the whiskey to me is better when it's not chill filtered. So with that said, they don't really tell you on some of these, so you have to kind of just think, okay, well, if they're not telling me, that means they don't want me to know. And if they don't want me to know, usually it's going to be a negative. That's the way I look at it. And if they don't like that, then what you can do to fix it is to put it on the bottle. Let us know what we're looking for, because you guys know what we're looking for. It's not a secret. I don't think it's a secret, at least. Looks like Paul's going to start with the Glenmorangie 10. I think that's an excellent choice. I prefer the Dalwhinnie 15 to that one, only because to me the Glenmorangie 10 has got, I would say it's a better floral whiskey than this one maybe, but I'm not looking for the florals as much. I do like the sweetness and the vanillas I'm getting off the Dalwhinnie, but if you're into more of like a fruit and floral whiskey, I'd say the Glenmorangie 10 is definitely a easy pick, especially for the price you can get it at. Uh, that's the only thing that really kills me about this one. I wish it was around more like 55 to 60. It's really hard though. It's got that 15-year age statement on it. That's the only reason they can justify a little bit of a bump of the price, but thank God it's not $80 yet, like some whiskeys that we love, like Springbank 10. Oh my God. I've seen some of these prices recently, and I about had a freaking drop down needing a bypass on the floor kind of thing. Ooh, nice. I like the Balakan 10. All right, guys, I can talk about what you guys are pouring all night. Let me switch gears here to what I wanted to really talk about. And then I'm kind of segueing with those properties I told you about: the age, the bottling strength, is it colored, is it chill filtered. And typically recently I've been on like a sherry kick. I've been on, I want like just a basic sherried whiskey with no peat, no frills, but a nice, decently priced sherried whiskey. So recently I've been I went and I got me some Glenmorangie G12 Lasanta, and I also wanted a little port action, so I got the Kinter Bond 14 year. Got them both for around, $100, and I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for. They've got great craft. They've got an age statement. They aren't chill filtered or colored, from what I remember, and decent ABVs. I think one's 43 and one was 46, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look that up real fast, but I don't want to say the wrong thing on that. Glenmorangie Lasanta. I believe that's at least 43 in America, at least. Yeah, 43 on that. And I'm pretty sure they don't color or chill filter that stuff there. I'd be really, I'm pretty sure because I'm pretty picky on that kind of stuff. And the 14 Kids Over Bond 46. So there you go. So 46 and 43 are decent ABVs, and I was kind of all pretty much set in my planned purchase. I get to the whiskey store and I see this beauty sitting there, and I'm like, wow. I usually don't, Glenlivet is not a distillery that I'm like, get all jazzed up over, but I've, they have a soft spot in my heart because it's one of the very, very first scotches I ever drank was a Glenlivet 12. And it's really still what I base just a basic scotch off of taste wise. It's got some great fruit, it's got some great vanillas, it's well balanced, it's a straightforward ex bourbon cask, it's, but it's no frills, 43%, 12-year age statement. Thankfully, one thing I did find out recently about Glenlivet, thankfully, is they do not color their whiskeys typically, even in their core range. That to me was like, wow, I definitely appreciate that. Um, Especially with this one. I'm getting to that more. This is a special 12 that was sitting there. So I'm like, okay, I'm down with it. And I looked at the bottle and I'm looking at the green. I'm like, oh, non-chill filtered. What the hell? Okay, that's even better. You don't really see that on core 12-year-old basic offerings that much anymore. You see the opposite. Hint, hint, you know, Glendronach and other distilleries that are even thinking about changing it. Don't change it. Non-chill filter is what we want to see. 48%, 48% ABV. That is was like music to my ears. I'm like, wow, not 40, not 43, not even 46. They're bumping it up to a 48%. I'm like, okay, what's the catch? I mean, we got 12 years age statement. We don't have coloring. We're not chill filtered, and we have 48% ABV. There's got to be a catch. Well, I found out the hard way. In Maryland, there is a catch. For you guys in California, you lucky bastards, it's there's no catch to it. It's crazy. Uh-oh. Let's see what did you pop open that 19? Yes, I did, and I have been enjoying it. This is the first batch 19. This is not a second or third batch. And from what I've heard, thankfully, Kilcairn, not tonight. Did not. I don't have any to pour. Sadly, I've been looking at my inventory, and I do have 20, at least 22, 21, 22 bottles open, but unfortunately, none of them are Kilcairn. I usually go through those pretty quickly. Yeah, riding solo tonight, Steven. Eric couldn't make it, so I'm kind of just chit chatting around. If you want to join, you're more than welcome to join, by the way. I'll send you an invite if you just want to chat. Has this turned into newbie night? Well, I mean, that's the thing. This is not whiskey that's geared toward a newbie. I mean, you might think it is, and I do think it should be, but this is geared towards the people like, and I would think that you would be the same that, and it's not actually. I don't think. Let me check something real fast. I did have a bottle. I could have sworn that it wasn't. Let me see something. If it is, man, that's really sad because I could have sworn that on the bottle that they were adamant about it not being. But let me. just doing a look quick look down, but yeah, I don't see anything on that one. Oh, I know who will definitely have it. And that's typically they're good about this. Let's see. One thing that's tough about them is they do change their profile sometimes. I've noticed with the whole coloring, chill filtering stuff. Typically, um, why is this not coming up? One second, guys. Sorry. There we go. And that was he's probably right, but I'm hoping that I can find I find a bottle that has it labeled differently. But oh, this is painful. If it's if they don't really put it on here, I'm trying to blow this picture up so I can actually see the bottle a little better. Yeah, they don't really. I guess you're right on that one, man. That's really sad. Well, that even proves my point even more. That that this is where the distillery should be going to, and not the other direction. Oh, the Kitzer Bond is the one. Oh, okay. That I was gonna say, the one of them could have sworn was non-chill filter, non-colored. At least that one being the 14, a little more expensive. The 75 I think I got it for 60, 65 actually, 65. That one's a little better. The Lasantas were usually 50, 55 here. So yeah, I mean, that's that. I would definitely shoot for, the only reason I even would entertain the Lasanta, because you can't really find a basic sherry, no peat, no other frills, lower than $75. You can't really find a whiskey that is in that area. Yeah, that's my old Kilkerran 15. Oh, that's a 16 over there. I already went through the 16. I do have a 15 that I used to have up here too. It's a cast strength, and I go through them very quickly, man. that one, that one is, and that's the 16. I didn't really care for the 16, so I wouldn't even, if I still had some, I wouldn't pour it. There was a 46 Lasanta that was not, that's okay. That's the one maybe that I'm thinking of, that like, but that's, yeah, that's 2014. That would have been right when I started getting into whiskey, the Scotch specifically. So it might have. I think it was on the tail end, because I do remember there was a 46% Lasanta that had. I could have sworn they had non-chill filtering on there, but either way, at least they're. I mean, they're. If they're not doing it now, at least they were doing it before. And my whole point to this is, finding this was actually nice, that they're actually, even though this is a specialty limited edition thing, hopefully they'll sell a boatload of these, because this is where the whiskey should be going to. This was April 14th of this year. This was bottled April 14, 2021. Um, they just came out, and I believe I started seeing these around November of 2020. So you should still see them out there, even though they are limited. I don't think the limitation's going to be that crazy on these. I'd be surprised if they were. Um, but either way, man, I like the 12 normal as one of my favorite. Coming into the thing, and the reason I wouldn't consider this a newbie thing is because most noobs wouldn't even know what to look for when it came to these stats that we're talking about. So, but I like where this is going. I poured some out a little earlier to let it breathe, and I do like the profile of the 12, the normal one. I had to tell you, man, this one is so much better. It's not like a little better. It's not like, let's say the Glenlivet 12 Basic. And this is not my score. Let's say you gave it a 2, and this would be a 2.25. No, this is like night and day difference on quality. I can hardly believe the difference on it. I mean, the nose alone, the power in it, that 48% is such a godsend. The fruit is right there, first note, but you also get this, like, oh, some nice savory notes going on in there. I mean, I'm not going to go into crazy detail just yet, but wow. I mean, it's actually got some nice, I'd say some nice quality. I saw Aaron Port cast finish 50% ABV yesterday for 64. That's a hell of a buy, man. I would if it's new or old Aaron Port cask, that makes a huge difference too. If it's new, I would say definitely jump all over it. If it's old, I would definitely look up some reviews because some of the older Aaron stuff I don't like near as much as some of their newer stuff. Believe it or not, on that new make stuff is actually pretty damn good compared to the old Aaron 14 or 16. 16 I had, it wasn't so good, but the new stuff I actually like. The old first Phil Glenlivet at 1248 is pretty good for the price. Yeah. This is 48 new. This is also, let me double check something. Do they tell you what the properties of the, I don't, they don't tell you what the fill, I mean, it's most likely just ex bourbon, but it'd be nice if it was for, I mean, I would, the qualities that are there where, I mean, wow. I guess first fill is a bit much, especially for the typical price in California for this is a lot cheaper than here. So that's the catch with this. That this in Maryland will run you $75, which is, for the ABV. I wasn't completely shocked because they do charge a lot for ABV when you ship into Maryland. So I thought, well, maybe that's where they're having to make it up their money. I seen this same exact bottle for like $45 in California, and if I lived in California, I would jump all over that in a heartbeat. I mean, just to try it. It's not gonna set you back much. To taste what Glenlivet should be doing, to me, this should be their core 12 every day, all day. This is what it should taste like because it's basically like the 12 that they have now, just better craft on steroids, better flavor, more intensity. And if you want it diluted, you can add water to it. It's not gonna kill you. Yeah, Total Wine has a bunch of that in LA, and you guys have a hell of a price too, which really burns me. I need to give Lamorangey another go one day. They just don't excite me for a reason. Yeah, it. I don't get excited by it per se, but if you, I'm just looking for a go-to sherry whiskey that's a little bit better than the regular, Naked Grouse. I mean, that's not bad, especially for $37, but little step up, around 50, $55. It's really hard to beat the La Santa for straightforward non-peated cherry. I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. But they do have some nice private offerings. Like I do like the Tusail and the Astar and some of their what I would consider not your newbie stuff. I mean, every distillery's got newbie shit versus what would be more uh, complex, with the exception of maybe Inchgour and some of those. But I got stranded in Wales after a car breakdown while back, and the only single malt bill was the Glenfiddich 12. It was a night and day better than any blend alternative. That's right. That's what you have to remember. And you guys knew my friends like myself that have been stranded where you're at the party, it's a wedding, something's happening, and you're dying for a scotch, but all they got is, no offense to Doers, but all they got is some Doers 12 or not even 12. They got some Doers thing where it's like just the basic stuff, and you're like, man, if I could just get my hands on a 12-year-old whiskey of anything, that's when the Glenfiddich 12s and the Glenlivet 12s and the, well, I like the Glenfiddich and the Glenlivet better than the basic Glenmorangie. I don't like the 10 that much, to be honest with you. It's just too floral forward for me. It needs more fruit, vanilla, sweetness, richness for me to get into it. But the Glenfiddich 12 and Glenlivet 12s, they're, I have had a lot worse whiskey, that's for sure. Picked up a store pick Aaron 14 Pinot Noir. Should have named it the Girl of Purple Night. It opens. That sounds good. Is this a new one? I take it. I really love where Aaron new stuff is going. That new 21, holy wow! I got it's making me want to try their 25, and I'm not really big on spending some crazy money, but unless I bought any Glenlivet, but I do have an unopened 18 at 43. Now that's the one that you want. I had the old 43, and I actually still enjoy that. The new 1840% was such a letdown. It was like it went from like a 4-star whiskey down to like a 3.75 or 3.5 whiskey. The ABV makes such a big difference on these guys. Kelly prices on Scotch are way better than this for this. So that's for damn sure. And I just it's killing me. I gotta find a way. I don't care if I have to get my own license to get a better import system here on the East Coast. There has got to be a way. It makes no sense for it to go all the way from Scotland all the way to California is cheaper than just going from Scotland to Maryland. There is no reason for that shit. I don't care what they say. There's got to be a way around that. I got old. The Dura 16 year or $80. The only limit I own attempted to get was the Signatory Cast Strength 14 Sherry Cast, pretty heavy sherry stuff. That sounds pretty good. I'd be down for a Signatory Glenlivet. I bet that is pretty tasty. Yeah, I'd say that would be a really nice find. I'm gonna try to find a Signatory one that I like. If you could find an Aaron 25 good price, I loved it. Okay. I love the 21, and if you love the 25, and I know it takes a lot to make you happy, I will jump all over it if I can find it. I gotta look and see here. Just a quick little look see. Just while I got Dustin, I just want to see something real fast, guys. Humor me for 1 second. I want to see if he thinks this is a good price for the Aaron 25. Ooh, that can't be the only one. You got to be kidding me. Hold on. Try one more place here before I move on. Aaron 25. Oh, geez. Okay. Aaron 25. Take it that it's 46%. Yeah, 46%. 65% bourbon, 35% sherry. There was 3,000 bottles made. Oh man. Oh, there's got to be a way. Is this not in the US at all? You got to be kidding me. They had to bring at least a bottle to the freaking US in some capacity. Out of 3,000 freaking bottles, you got to if this is this only Europe, man? I'm I'm kind of curious. I had the 21 18. The 18 is better considering the price difference, but back up to the 18. I have yet to. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've had the new 18 yet, and I love the 21. So if you think that 18 is actually even better than that, that's surprising, man. Because that 21 is no freaking joke. I'll have to look at some new 18s and 25s. It sounds like, geez, guys are killing me. The old 16 Enduras are great. Yeah, Sterling Limit is good. They do Pinot Cast too, which are very good. Okay. I was upset I couldn't get a second of the 18s. I did get a backup 21. Wow. I was man the 25. Okay. What was it that didn't wow you? 46% ABV is lower than you probably usually like. Do you think it was ABV, or do you think it was 65% bourbon and 35% sherry cast? Sounds right up my alley. So I think I would love that. I know I love their new distillate profile. 25-year age statement, man. It's what was it about it, Stephen, that didn't tickle the ivories? I'm just curious. Good to see you there, IC86. Yeah, Stephen wasn't blown away, but as far as I know, no Aaron 25 was sold in the US yet. Damn. Ugh. Things suck in Europe. We can't buy Springbank anymore. Oh man. This is sad. I've seen prices of Springbank just shoot up like crazy recently. Kelly's the largest source of consumer news. See, that's such. I don't see how that's possible when you've got Kentucky and all the surrounding, especially in the deep South, as being whiskey consumers. I wow. I guess I mean you guys have a shitload of people. Maybe that's how you guys are getting the high priority. Except bourbon, yeah, we always have to wait for months. But I mean, and this is crazy. Yep, Nensel news. They've got to release that in the United States, man. That is just crazy. Yeah, it's got to be the population, man. That is just crazy. But we got, but if you took Maryland, Connecticut, and I mean, the New England, we'll say from New England down as far south as we'll only go to like we'll go to Virginia. From Virginia to Maine, with all of the people, we'll go as we'll go Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York. You know, if we count those people, it's got to be up there. I don't recall, but Dustin and I had a long conversation about it. Need to go check my notes on the Aaron. Yeah, I'm just curious of what it was that you didn't really care for there. I got a Stag Junior recently, and it was. Oh, sorry for moving the camera on you guys a little bit there. Uh, Stag Junior recently, and was told that it's impossible in the States. That's wild, man. Even in Southern California, it's nonstop party with the people. Well, yeah, I mean, I love San Diego, man. I mean, I went to San Diego and partied with John Smedley and Sony Online Entertainment back in like 2005. I can talk about it now. I had to sign an NDA at the time. I was writing just forum stuff about how much I hated some of the changes they made in Star Wars Galaxies. Uh, they flew like how many was it, five total? They flew like five or six people out for San Diego for like the weekend, hung out in the gaslight, whatever that place is called down there. It was really fun. We went to this place called Dick's where all they do, the servers actually yell at the people and give them a hard time. It's like the most craziest thing. I can see how people could get upset about it, but it was kind of funny. Thankfully they allow alcohol there, but that was a really fun time. I mean, there's a lot of people down there, but I'm not talking like East Coast, New York, Virginia, Maryland. If you took all our people, how in the world could it even be? It's got to be a state thing, and the state laws are it's killing us. I can't stand the stupid laws. Yes, that's what's killing me. I can't stand it. California probably would have an absolute fit if we found a way around this crazy import export insanity. I think ABV was a factor. It isn't bold. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. If you're used to drinking 55 to 60% whiskey on a halfway regular basis, I can see why 46 would be a letdown. I really do. Is a haven for Springbank and just got a 10 local barley, but now have to trade it due to the ridiculous value of it. Wow. I can imagine, man, because I mean, let me ask Peter. You could tell me. I'm not interested in buying one. I've been lucky enough to have a local barley before. Wasn't the 16 that I wanted, but it was a 10-year-old. It was the one that was the first 10 that they released, and it was good. But I mean, I thought it was very good. I'm not knocking it, but it wasn't like, since it didn't have like a cask specific, other than having a little sherry involved with it. It wasn't like the best thing ever. I mean, it was really good, but it wasn't like blow my socks off. Damn, I gotta have that again. Kind of good, but I've heard that they were selling these for like $300 or something. Are they still selling them for that, or is it a lot more? I'm just curious because even at 250 to 300, I was like, no, 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 no. It's all over auctions. Minimum $80 for forced shipping. Member also has auctions. Wow, it's all over the auctions at Kilkerran 8 Oloroso. Huh. Yeah, I wonder what it would take to find your own like. There's got to be loopholes for some of these crazy laws that they have, where all we're trying to do is order a damn bottle of something we're going to drink in a week. I mean, come on. This is the Oloroso matured. More than 300. More than 300, man. Ooh. If it's Oloroso matured, I might be more interested in it because this, I think, first 9 year was like a finish, and it wasn't much of a finish. I didn't really detect any sherry hardly in it at all. It was definitely very peaty though. It kind of reminded me more of like an Octomore than anything else, which I thought was kind of funny. Um, the full volume from Highland Park kind of or also had that same kind of profile. It was pretty intense peat, great like ex bourbon type of cast, first fill, whatever. But aside from the peat and the straightforward nice maltiness and things like that, I mean, it was hard for me to get excited. So that actually sounds a bit more, but $300 worth for a 9 year whiskey, man, these casks better be doing some great things. Have to get some work done. All right, man. Have a great one. And be sure to come back next week. Eric will be here, and we'll be doing this show for the. I think we're doing Old Pulteney as the next one. Let me verify. It is the new Old Pulteney, the 15 and the 18. We'll be looking at. That'll be a fun one. The newest Springbank local barley 10 year is all first fill fresh sherry. Ooh, that sounds good. Is it $300 good, Dustin, for a 9 year, 10 year? Oh man, that's painful. I'm with Chris Goodrum on the Oloroso thing. They nearly all taste the same. Wow, I don't know about that, man. I mean, sulfur makes a huge difference on Olorosos that I've had, matured and finished. Uh, like the Deanston 20 compared to another, like a Glendronach Parliament. Well, that has PX. Allardyce. Like if you do the Glendronach 18 Allardyce, and then you have, um, like a decent 20 Oloroso, those to me are completely like huge different deal. I enjoyed the new Old Pulteney 15, finished the bottle in 6 months last year. Yeah, that's going to be a surprise review, I think, because I remember when they first released these, I was lucky enough to try them, and even some new 25 and up 35 stuff. And I was surprised by what I saw and what I thought of the new make. We'll get into that definitely heavily in that show. And I agree with Peter. At first I liked it because I was expecting some sulfur, but after having that bottle and going back to it, I don't know if I'd say ammonia, but it was extremely heavily sulfur forward and kind of, but I'm wondering I didn't let that bottle sit around for too long because I like me some sherried scotch, but I wonder if I let that. Did you ever try to see if oxidation would help that bottle at all, Peter? I'm just curious because I'll agree with you. It was a bit rough around the edges after some coming back to it and when they don't stick a sulfur, they taste the same. Oh, I love it, man. I hear you. I don't know. The but that's the same thing with PX sherry, or the same thing with straightforward ex bourbon casks. Once you've had, one, they're kind of similar in profile, but this the basic spirit will make a difference, I think, in some of this stuff. But I don't know. I bought six. It's not very good in my opinion. Over the top sherry, hiding the whole point of buying a local barley. You can't taste the barley. I was going to ask you about that. That's a good a good statement in epiphany. I'd say because yeah, when people go for the local barley, they're buying the whiskey and the craft and the farm that the barley is coming from, the brightness, the effervescence, the peat, and that is one thing that's special. It's the closest thing to Octomore to me that you can get fresh, pure peat wise without a bunch of other crap mucking it up. It's and to almost distract that with sherry is interesting. But I do love a peat with. It's hard for me to love a straightforward peat without a cask influence. Even the Octomores, I love the 7.2 much more than the 7.1. I do appreciate the 7.1 and the 8.1s and the point ones across the board for what they are, but they're basic, straightforward. You know, they're not. I don't have anything special cask wise going on. That French Syrah they do in the 7.2, on the other hand, man, that is beautiful. Um, I see where I see what you mean, and I could agree that that's distracting from the focus should be. But what if it tastes really good? Man, I want to try one now. If you open one and aren't selling it and doing any samples, let me know. I'll definitely try to trade you something if I can. 'Cause I would like to try it. Hey, good to see you, Ben. Oh man, he's getting all Irish on me. Kid Middlesfield, something or other. God bless all. Slant, now he's going back to Scotch. Gaelic. I hear you there, man. I hope you got some Iska with you. Throw them agates. All right. Looking back, I got some herbal tea notes that I wasn't a fan of. Closed nose also. I'll pour another soon. Drinking a very nice Glendronach SC. SC. I think maybe he meant cast strength reversed there. Right now that kicks the hair in his ass. I bet it does, man. I'm enjoying this 12 illicit still, I have to say. Anyone tried the Deanston 12 cast strength? I've had the 10 PX cast strength and I loved it. That was a great bottle. And it did not, thank God. It was not my bottle, but the Deanston replaced it for the owner. Did not help, I understand. Wow. That yeah, that that makes sense because I've had it a couple times, and I do remember the sulfur level being a lot higher. And I don't think oxidation helped. It might have gotten worse with oxidation. Come to think of it, maybe that's why at first I wasn't too thrown off by it, and over time, maybe that's why it kind of went down for me. Nothing against Deanston. I do like Deanston usually, but that bottle is a bit sulfuric. Completely agree. Pure money grab by Springbank. I think it was aged for blending, but they saw the dollars. Man, that's sad. Yeah, I bet that is a good one. Passed out on that local barley tin because of the reviews and the price. Yeah, of 12 cast strengths. Yeah, you know what it's about, man. I love that cast strength. Yeah, 9 cast strength Bordeaux, fabulous. Yeah, really hard to find now. Had reviewed it. Okay, so I was wondering if anyone is able to get it. Good question. Three. Wow, 300 each easily. That's crazy. Still waiting for it to hit his area. You might be waiting a bit, man. It sounds like it's tough pickings. I'm not a big fan of shipping. I hear you there. SC equals quote what? Cast strength? Is it cast strength you're talking about, or secret cask? I'm trying to figure out what the hell. I'm not drinking like some Enigma weird cipher shit. I'm just drinking the Glenlivet 12 illicit still, man. Come on. Not doing anything crazy. Whiskey Base has the local barley at 89 plus with over 400 bucks. So that's not bad. NAS sherry cast strength. Okay. Yeah. I want to get my hands on that NAS sherry cast strength. That's for sure. The Bordeaux is the only Deanston besides 12. Yeah. Scotia 10 Bordeaux cast strength will be in Kelly. Okay. Oh, single cask. My fault. I was wondering where you were going with that. Glendronach 93, 24-year-old. Yeah, 60.2. Hard to beat these Taiwanese exclusives, man. That's just like as specific as you could possibly get on a whiskey. That's like pinpoint accuracy. I like it though. No, it's yeah. Once you do that, it's really tough to go anywhere else. Yeah, the 10 PX, I like that one a lot. I really do. Brooklotti Bear Barley, Orkney is fantastic. And here you really taste the barley. It's cheaper than Springbank and really excellent. Now that is a great thought. And I have to agree with Welsh that if you are into the whole barley thing like Springbank has, but you are not into the prices that Springbank has, Brooklotti and Kilhoman, man, they know how to bring the barley, I'd say. Kilhoman's also pretty good and not too crazy on pricing just yet. I mean, even though I have a feeling they're going to get pretty freaking nuts on the pricing, but you had that 26 Glendronach from Whiskey World. Yeah. I have a Deanston 13-year cask strength cream sherry. I found it to be too hot aggressive. That sounds damn good, man. A single, I'm sorry, a cask strength cream sherry. Hmm. I'll take any of the prior local barleys over that bear barley. Wow. Springbank's malt is too dang good, and their sparing use of sherry in the past was just perfect. Well, don't you like Brooklotti's? You know, if have you you don't like the classic Lottie or the Scottish barley or the some of the Port Charlotte stuff, Dustin? I thought you were down with that. I really like a lot of their stuff, at least. I mean, just as much as the Springbank. I mean, Springbank's got some great stuff too, but I don't think I mean, the taste is different, but I don't know if the quality is that crazy far apart. Is it? Maybe they seem to definitely dabble in the whole terroir, thing a lot in a good way. I do taste the difference when I go from farm to farm on some of these. I thought they were selling them on the site. Yeah, either way, trading or flipping it. I have heard that the sherry over dominates the local barley tin by a few different sources I trust. I wasn't going to spend 200. Yeah, I did get no price. Okay, 180 is a hell of a great price on those local barleys, from what I've gathered. Because I thought 220 was like the going rate on a lot of those. Polo Cortado. I haven't had one yet. I got to get my hands on a Polo Cortado. I had the chance, and I almost had one, and they ran out of the damn stuff at the expo before I got my hands on it. I was so pissed. And I think it was a Bunnahabhain too, if I'm not mistaken, which really made me mad. I'm a little indifferent on it. It's a little light for me for the Glendro. I've been burned by the lighter ones. Interesting. For him not to like a Glendronach single cask, and especially that age and that ABV, it's unheard of to me. Wow, man. It's I will definitely take any off your hands that you don't really care for. That's for sure. It's also that it's also one that hasn't taken off in the Glentro phonetic circles. Yeah, yeah, those guys, man, like Travis Faircloth and some of our buddies out in the ether. These Glendronic people, man, they're like they're extremely picky. It's pretty wild. Wonderful spices, and it's darker in person than it looks in the picture. It's on the dark side. I love the 648 cat. Oh, that's another cask. Yeah, I can imagine, man. Whew. Well, I can't get that crazy, but I am going to get crazy with you guys on this Ardbeg 19 that I first batch that I still have that I poured a glass of a little earlier. But I will say again, new, not new distilleries out there that are thinking about changing your core game, how you present whiskey, please follow these guys with the whole get a good age statement on there, get a good bottling strength. This one's 48. I'm not bitching at all. Um, Not colored, not chill filtered. What the hell else do I want? Well, for Maryland to lower their damn prices on whiskey, because 70 for this was a little high. Uh, the 35 they're charging in California makes me like just ache, because that's actually dog ass too low. This should be about 50 to $55, I'd say. Uh, I wish that with for California and for Maryland, we met in the middle and everyone paid $55. That would be fair, but I guess Maryland gets screwed in this deal. It's so sad. Mm, that's a good deal, man. Oops. Mike's boy sent him a sample of it, so at least one Glentrode lover picked it up. I couldn't say Dustin because you can't buy spring bacon. It does, yeah. It costs a bomb even if you can. My point was the Bear Barley 2010 from Orkney was the best from Brooklady. Yeah, I could see. Yeah, the prices are. I mean, even though Brooklady has their moments in some of their bottles, man, those specialized number letter the code ones that like PC 10, PC 9, PC 8, that kind of stuff. Those some of those prices are a little crazy, but the hype is definitely not with Brooklady as much as it is with Springbank. So for availability, it's a huge deal on a lot of these bottles too. I love to try. I'd love. I'd love to try it, but picky on the ones I'm buying right now. I've been disappointed with the newer releases. Yeah, they're definitely going down in quality overall. I think and I will echo what Steven's saying, but I think this goes for lots of distilleries. There's only a couple, with the exception. I think Aaron's been doing a good job. I like what I'm seeing from one of it on this illicit 12, but I'm seeing a lot of distilleries like Lentronic and like Diageo, that they're conglomerate of distilleries, I should say. Uh, just not going down the craft path. It's kind of disheartening. I'm hoping that they will enough people will try to make some influence on some of this. But fair enough. I think it's nice whiskey, but nothing special. Those local barleys just have, yeah, they do have long, great finishes. That's true, but uh, I still love a combination of different factors. But yeah, I think it's what grows getting PX and not Oloroso. Now the Oloroso is disappointing more than PX. Interesting. I think my next thing will be the Edgedower cast strength canister first fill bourbon from UK under 100. Now that sounds beautiful. How do you get this from the UK? I guess they just ship into California pretty damn easy, like to DC. I need to set something up in DC or something. Not being able to order a lot of stuff all of a sudden is killing me, because I noticed that a lot of places uh, have changed their rules and they're not shipping to Maryland for some reason. So it's getting harder and harder to figure this game out. We'll put it that way. Plus the prices have shot up. Yeah, it was not from Isla for a change, and it was very good. Oh, from Orkney. So if it was an Isla from Orkney, it was a Highland Park. I would assume. Local barley, not a lot, and should have bought them last year when they were 165 each. Yeah, I don't know, man. 165 for that, even it's really tough. Because I compare it a lot to that full volume 14. What was it, 17 year? I'm trying to remember what the age statement was on the, even though it wasn't very readily visible. I think it had a 17-year statement on it. See, it was the weirdest. 99 in 2017. Yeah. So we'll say seven. I'm pretty sure it was a 17-year first full bourbon, barrels and hogsheads involved with it. It was 47.2% ABV. That was a nice bottle, but you could get it for like 100, 110, 120. I mean, why the crazy? I mean, I know the craft of Springbank is a bit better, but is it worth $200 extra? I mean, that's where I'm like, I don't know, man. I mean, I like some well crafted whiskey and I'm willing to pay more for it. Maybe 50, 75, $100 more, but $200 or $300 more for it. when the bottle's already $100 or $200. It's really hard to put these crazy exponential boosts on the price. There are many of us that belong to whiskey country out of the UK. I know a few Ontario YouTubers that are great help finding stuff in Alberta. Yeah, Alberta, man, that's like the Canadian savior for whiskey. It sounds like. Wow, I could have bought 3 local barley nines and flipped 2 of them and got a free one. I screwed up. Yeah, you're insane if you think it. Any Springbank local barley was like that HP full volume. Love you, but no, I guess he meant no way. That I mean, I'm just going by what that first local barley 10-year. It was great, and it was better than the full volume. I'm not saying it was the same. I don't think it's worth $200 extra for the local barley versus the full volume, though, is all I'm saying, because it's the same damn profile. The only difference really is the level of peat that I got out of the local barley was definitely more intense and better, but was it $200 better? That's where I'm kind of like, the age is actually older with the full volume. The ABV, I think, is about this. What was the ABV on that one? What was the ABV on the first 10-year, Dustin? Do you know? It's probably around 48%. I don't think it was in the maybe it was in the 50s, and that was the bit of the difference. I never did it side by side, so I can't speak to if how much of the difference. But if you're seeing it's $200 difference, I'll just have to take your word on that one. But I don't know, man. I poured a Port PC MRC 01, really intense cast strength, which will lead to try more there. Yeah, that's a great one. I think that's a good one. It just tastes like $200 to $300 whiskey. I guess for some people it does, but I don't. The 10 years where I get kind of, the craft, yes, costs money, and I know makes a difference. But if you can't back it up with some age, I just like to see, if I'm spending $200 to $300 in a whiskey, I would like to see at least a 15 to 18-year statement on it. Is all I'm saying. It's really hard to spend that kind of money on a whiskey that doesn't have a little more something else besides the basic craft. The 57% does make a huge difference, so never mind on that one. The 16 is the gem of the group. Yeah. Now the 16, I'd say, is definitely much more than retail, but not that tenure that I had in the. I actually was able to taste 2 different tenures. One was a sherry, and I think one was a basic ex bourbon, but it just wasn't like as good as what I've heard that 16 first one being. And I would kill for that local barley 16. That's one that I would definitely like to have a bottle of. But there's just no way I'm going to spend the crazy secondary market prices for it, so I'll never have one most likely. But maybe if one floats by, I get lucky to pick it up. I like Springbank 12s better than the local barleys. Yeah, and that is why I have that. Yeah, I'm the same way, Cohen. I'd much rather have that cast strength than any local barley that I've had. But I've never had the 16 first one. Best bang for the buck. Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. I'd love to get a 16 local barley. It's such a good bottle. That's what I'm saying. I'd love to try that one. I wish I had the chance to try that one. Maybe when I get home, finally look at them. Oh, the samples. Yep. Yeah, it's always fun to trade those when you get a chance. Let's pour something a little different here. But yeah, I'm glad I picked it up, even though it was a little overpriced in my opinion. If this was 55, 60, I'd say 55 being perfect. It'd be a easy pick. Fruits for days. Nice mouth coat. Great ABV. Balanced, sweet, savory. I'm down with it. I like it. I'll have to have that again very, very soon. I need to Have a little sip of some Iska before we move on. Yeah, that's just crazy, crazy, crazy money. There's no way. I even thought when I first saw it for 300, I thought people were crazy, but I should have jumped on it for 300, I guess. I just at the time I wasn't spending that kind of money on whiskey. It was for me to spend $100 on whiskey. It was like a lot, and now it's like I wish I had the money that I have now that when I first started. But someday maybe we'll find it for a lot less if we're lucky. Wow, 57.3. Wow, three of them. 150. Now that is, see, to me that is what they should be priced at. I think I paid like 180 for the one I got. It was a 10-year-old at the same. I think it might have been the same, similar, close ABV to that. The old Long Row 14 was very interesting. I don't think experiment changed that. They dropped that. Yeah. Ooh, the 32 year. Yeah, wouldn't we all, man? Spring anything above a Springbank 18 is gonna like you have to give a kidney for. It's crazy. Their prices on their 21 and 25 just make me laugh. I'm just like, there's just and some of these long rows, man, above the 18, they're going from crazy ass prices. I have long row 17 single cast Chardonnay finish that might be better than all them all. What if you don't like Chardonnay though? That's the thing. Uh just a number will just a number that tells you how long it's been in the barrel. I mean, it's an important number. It might just be a number. To me, it's an important number that does, that gives me an idea of what I'm getting myself into and what I'm paying for. Same with ABV. You could have a whiskey that everyone says, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever," but if it's 40% ABV, or if it's colored, or if it's chill filtered, or if it's got a 3 or 4 year age statement on it, it's not going to be all that great typically. But that's just the way I. Ooh, that's nice. I do like this Trevon 19. I know it's not for everybody. I know some of you were not big fans, hint hint, but for me, 46.2, love it. American Oak Oloroso Sherry casks, love it. I'm a huge fan of their stuff typically. Now, this one to me is also overpriced, so I will get on Arbig just as much as I've been harping at Springbank. So 21 and 25 are cheap in the UK. Yeah, which you can't. That's the painful part of it, man. 21, yeah, $400. Ooh, I would actually now that is worth it. This 21 year old Hazelburn for 400. Now that I could definitely get with that. This being a 19 and being, I think when it was first released it was 300. You can still find it for, and sometimes down to 275. I've noticed on some of these. So they do have 3 batches of this, and they do change over time. So if you are getting into some of these special ones that we're talking about, and that goes for the Springbank series too, do your homework and make sure what you're looking at is exactly the same one that you're thinking that you're getting, because every year these guys change the format. So even though it says Ardbeg Trevon 19 on it, you have to look at the fine print and think, oh, is this batch one, batch two, or batch three? Same with these local barleys that we're talking about. There have been changes on the profile on these, and you might like one that's got straightforward ex bourbon only. You might be a sherry head, and if that's the case, you're not going to like the one that's just straightforward ex bourbon. Make sure you get the one that's got the sherry in it. But you have to. Sorry, I keep kicking the damn camera. You have to. You know, do your homework and find out the ABV and the cast type and the whole 9 yards before you pull the trigger on buying that bottle. I'd hear what you think about it. It's not really wine or whiskey. If something tastes older than the age statement, who cares? If something tastes older than the age statement, well, that would be a great thing. I would care. I would definitely care. Like if I drink a whiskey and it's got an 8-year statement on it, just like the Glendronach 8 Highland, one of my favorite whiskeys. Um, it tastes like a 12 or 15. I'll jump all over it, and I did that with the 8-year-old Glendronach Highland. That's. I wish you could get it in the United States. I was lucky enough to uh, have it a few times because Lee Evolved had a bottle when he came to DC to visit, and not an expensive bottle at all, but great, fantastic whiskey. But it did have an age statement on it, so and the whiskey doesn't have to be as young as the age statement. It just can't be younger. True, but I think it's a bonus if I'm and to me it does justify me spending more. If it's a 12-year-old whiskey versus a 18-year-old whiskey, of course I should automatically know I'm going to have to pay a little bit more for the 18, just like with the ABV. If it's 48 versus 40, I should know I'm going to be asked to pay a little bit more for it. But the opposite happens with some of these bottles where you're getting a 9 or 10-year-old whiskey and they're charging you 18-year prices for it. I mean, I can make an exception with the Springbank because the ABV is so high. That's the only reason they could justify spending 300 plus dollars on a whiskey like that. In the craft does make a huge difference, but if it wasn't for that high ABV, I don't think it would be worth it. And to me, I would much rather have a great 50% whiskey with, you know, a little bit more age to it than so-so whiskey at 9, 10 years and, a higher ABV at 60%. ABV to me isn't everything, just like age isn't everything. It's the combination of everything together. It's got to have not just the age, but it's got to have the ABV. It's got to have the no chill filtering for the mouth coat, the quality, the feel, and, coloring. We just don't want to see it if we can help it. So, I mean, to me, they're all four equally as important, almost, with the exception of maybe the coloring being as much of a factor. I'd say coloring's least amount of least of my worries. The chill filtration would be next. The age would be actually the most important. I think the ABV would be second most important. So I would say coloring, chill filtration, ABV, and then age for getting more important. What about you guys? What do you think for whiskey? What do you look for in order? Like for me, at first I would be like, the most important is I want a nice age with the AB. I guess age and ABV would be equal actually. The age and ABV is equally as important. Less than those two together would be the chill filtration and then the coloring being last. I think that's how I'd have to think about it. The Long Road 21 isn't worth 400. What's it worth? What's it worth? Don't give me something. Batch one and two of the RBX 19s are close enough. You wouldn't notice the difference like you did them side by side. How many have tried the eight? I'd like to try it. I have not looked for it yet, but it is on my radar to pick one up. What did you think, Walsh? Give me a sneak preview of what you thought on it. Stay away from Long Road because it hits or miss, and that is why the 21 is still there. Here, 21 wouldn't be, or Springbank 21. Gotcha. Interesting. What's a good price for the Talisker 25? Well, it depends on which version. There are so many versions of the Talisker 25, man. Um, is it cast strength or regular? That kind of thing. Just doing by a quick look see. Talisker 25. If you're going basic, oh man. Looks like they're all 700 milliliters versus 1 750 I found, but for a bit more. But if it's not cast strength and just basic, I'd say 375 to 400, somewhere around there is probably a decent price from what I'm seeing. Um, but that's like pre after shipping and tax and all that shit, probably 500 ish. But I mean, that's a typical thing. 21s and 25s, depending on the distillery, you're talking, 450 on the low side up to 700 for the high side. Paying big bucks for the Hazelbird 21. Don't even know if the Ardbeg is 8 is available in Alberta. Maybe, yeah, I'm not sure if it is or not, man. 300 for local barley is secondary because people love the way it tastes. To me, the local barley drink is a 15-year-old whiskey, and most are better than any 20 on the shelf. I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, it's definitely a lot of this is subjective as far as the taste and all that. Um, I mean, it sounds like you guys feel the same way to that to me with like the Brooklady 23 Black Arts. To me, the 4.1 whiskey is always going to be one of the best whiskeys, period, I've ever tasted. It's worth $500 every day of the week. It came out at 300, and I would say it's worth even a lot more than that. But a lot of people would probably think I'm crazy, like I do with you guys on the Springbank thing. But some people love certain distillates in general, and when they get a lot of age or they get like a lot of specialty, like they do with the local barley stuff, man, I could see why they think it's worth going crazy. So I can't say or knock anybody for that, because I'm the same way with Brooklady when it comes to Black Arts 4.1, man. I'll definitely argue with people over that dram every day. Had to become a committee member to buy a bottle. Wow. Little Book 3. Not familiar with that one. Sorry. If it's not Scotch, unless it's Little Book 3. What is that, Cohen? Just curious. Super Limited won't be in US anyway. That's another reason why it'd be more money to try to get your hands on. Someone here at Benny's for Chicago, 570. Wow. Yeah, that's too high, I'd say, man. I would lean towards five 530 is the lowest I'm seeing, kind of like, after tax, after shipping, after everything. It looks like that's what and that's regular. I would try to find a cast strength one if you can. I know those are hard to come by though. Look, Barley 3 is so good, and it looks like a solid price. Wow. The Ardbeg 8 should not cost more than 50 pounds. I'm getting a bit tired of the peat and sherry combo thing. More subtle than the Lafroig tin sherry, but I found them both too sweet. You are a puzzling fellow there, Welsh. I I'm like the opposite of you. I like my peat to have sherry with it. I don't like the peat to be straightforward. So for me, it's actually a good thing. But the funny thing about the Freud Tin Sherry Oak, the new one, I didn't think it was sweet at all. I found it to be extremely savory and spicy, and I wished it was more of a on the sweeter end than the real savory kind of spicy side. I did find, um, I mean, I do find like the PX ones to be pretty damn sweet. Oloroso, not so much, but um, I don't know, man. I see. Now you're making me want to try it because I'll do like the peat sherry combo. So I'm gonna have to definitely swing and grab that one. But it sounds like you were not a big fan. Um, Little Book is, and that's all you said. Oh, Beam, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, Telex. After all this outlandish slander, A for the spring bank, I'm going for a class at comparative value. I'm not saying it's like it. I'm not saying it's close to it. All I was saying was I don't see after having the full volume, which usually runs around 1 to 110, so around there, for the profile of the age, the ABV, which is 10% off, and I didn't realize that at first, so I will, you know, I'm going to retract that piece. But as far as not having any other special cast things going on, anything particular, no age that was super old, I'm surprised people are willing to spend $300 on something that doesn't have it. Because for my favorite, the Bruichladdich Black Arts 4.1, I can say it's got a 20, what, 26, 23. So it's got a 20 something age statement that comes along with it that I can justify spending crazy money on. For the terroir and the craft in a decent cask, I'm like, is it really worth 300 plus? I mean, that's where I'm kind of like, I don't think it's slanderish, it's outlandish or slander, too much. But I don't know. I wish I would give anything to have that local barley. Yeah, show me where you can get it for $300 right now, please. I'm begging you, because right now it's every day where I've ever seen it for 5 plus. But yeah, I think it's a lot worth a lot more than three. But if you can get it to me for three, I'll jump on it like huge, big time right now. I actually will buy a bottle now for that. Peat and heavily sherry are so hard to get right when it's. Yeah, I mean, peat and heavily sherry hard to get right. I mean, I get. I mean, I've had so many good ones. I'm not sure why you guys think that. For me, like, I like how Lagavulin does it. I think their peat and sherry combinations are great on the distillers edition. But I like PX I like the combinations. So maybe that's the reason why I like them versus some of you guys with Kilhoman. They get peat and heavily sherried whiskey done well every time I've seen it with Lafroig, the PX Lafroig and QA casks. That's different. The PX, they did it right. The new sherry oak I was kind of not into because I'm surprised that he thought it was sweet. I just didn't get the sweetness out of it, but it is what it is on that one. Ardbeg's done some good sherried with the Ugadals and stuff. Trying to think of Holland Park does peated sherry, don't they? I thought they did. Maybe that's more ex bourbon. Trying to think of I think Bunnahabha's heads. No, they don't do the peat thing. Well, the Moine series, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. I see. I kind of see what you mean to an extent there. Yeah, it's a decent pour. I drink ultra dry cider. I do like Ardbeg and the Lafroig. I don't think people should pay over the top price. Yeah, no, I hear you. I don't think so either. I mean, for an 8-year old, and that comes back to my point. It's 8, 9, 10-year old whiskey. You shouldn't be spending over $100 for that shit. I don't think, in my opinion. The ABV, yes, makes a difference, but does it make $200 difference? Really? Uh, Loch Gorm is very decent. I'd say it's more than pretty decent. It's one of my favorite peated scotches out there. Will destroy. Yeah, 1257, 12. They don't have a 1257. You talking about the cast strength? Basic 12 cast strength one? Yes, I agree with you on that. He's talking about the local barley 9-year stuff. I don't know about that. Some sourdough cast, nice vanilla, good peat from HP. Drinks about 12 years old. I'm not sure if I'd go that young, dude. Deeper, richer mouthfeel, 5 times more flavor. Finish lasts 3 times longer, and the sherry is perfect. Wow. I know where his heart is. I'd love to do a sit down with both of those. I mean, I'll have to see. I trust you on that soured oak cast. That sounds funny. I don't remember getting any sour notes from the full volume, but not saying that I disagree, you know, too much, but I'd have to see about that. All I'm seeing is, yes, I do agree that the local barley is a better dram, but is it $200? Is it three times the price worth the difference? That's where I have to draw a line. If the HP is 100, the SB is 3. Uh, got some stiff competition with the 10 share. Yeah, Lecheg 19. Yes, I want to try that. I've not had the cast strength PX. That is on my to-do list big time. I want to try that so bad. I'm drooling too, my friend. Oh, Lordy. Adelphi Kalila 311709. That's probably my favorite peat and sherry. Wow, that's very specific. The Punahaven Moin Oloroso and Fashil Moin Oloroso were great too. Yes. Faircloth. Great to see you there, man. I knew you were lurking. Oh, you're picking out the Adelphi, man. That's one independent bottling I've got to find more of. I love their stuff. Best independent bottling I've ever had, actually, so far. Consistently next to SMWS, Adelphi to me is probably my favorite above all of them. I'd say. I want to get Gorman have some with the Ugadal. I don't know, man. I think I. That's a tough one. Now that's a good comparison. The Loch Gorm and the Ugadal together. Man, I've never done a side by side with those two, but that would be a great combo. I'd love to see. If I had to take a guess, I gotta look this up now. Now he's kind of piqued my interest on the combination comparison here. Loch Gorm. Now, I've been lucky enough to have like a 2015, so we're talking old, but I've seen that they got better with age, with the newer editions. Not 2018 didn't do so well, but the 17 and 19 and 20 appeared to be doing pretty well. I wonder why the 15 didn't have such a great score in the 18 of all things. Interesting. Well, with that said, let's look up we'll just do make it easy. Let's do the latest area deal. 46% ABV on the Loch Gorm. And it's always Exceloroso sherry butts pretty much across the board, fully matured in Exceloroso sherry butts. Makes a huge difference on that. Now, with that said, let's take a look at, let's see, 46, right? Our big Ugadal. I think the Ugadal is going to be slightly higher. Yeah, 54.2 makes a big difference. Ex-bourbon and ex-oloroso sherry. So it got some very young and very old oloroso sherry aged with the ex-bourbon barrels deal. From the look at it, they're both NASs. The Ugadal wins the ABV by far, 54.2. The Loch Gorm being all much maturation makes a difference to me. But in Ugadals, they're using old and young Oloroso sherry. Since it's Oloroso with young and old and the ex-bourbon with the ABV difference, I'm going to say the Ugadal is going to win. That's my guess. I could be wrong, but if I had to take a guess, you're going to like the Ugadal more by slightly. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but Spring Bank 10 will beat the full volume. Stop kidding yourself. I do love me some basic Springbank tin. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not a Springbank hater. I'm a Springbank lover. You guys have seen my collection. It's crazy. I've got so many Springbank bottles. I could probably fill this whole fucking table with them. If I gotta dig them out of the thing and surprise you guys at some point. But man, I mean, Springbank. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If you set me down and was like, "Here's a Springbank tin. Here's a full volume. Which would you rather drink?" I would go for the Springbank tin. That's just my personal preference. But if you set me down with like, here's a full volume, and here's that Springbank local barley 9 or 10, that I had before, it's kind of a toss up for me. It didn't blow my socks off with the deal, but most exclusive bourbon casks have a nice touch of sour generally. Okay, well, thankfully I don't detect that out of the bourbon, but I'm thankful because I'm not a huge fan of a sour note, but I like the ones that I usually get like a nice more of a sweet kind of a thing out of it, but I'm happy with that because I prefer a sweet profile anyway. You're right. Just ordered a Beneva 6 year sealing cash cherry matured, 6 years old. That sounds good, man. I do. I drool too, man. He's not the only one. I love Lecheg. I would love like 19 cast strength. Wow, I'm getting far behind. Sorry, guys. There's a reason I bought 7 bottles. 7 bottles. Wow, dude. I'd also say it drinks older than the 15-year-old rum. Dude, I love that 15-year-old rum. Even though I thought that was a little disjointed as far as the story that it told, I love the combination, the complexity of that 15 rum is unreal. Dude, you're crazy if you think it drinks older than that to me. But maybe your palate's geared towards picking out a lot more of the notes out of the barley, the straight up local barley stuff than mine. I just did not get to ever be a huge fan of that. But if I ever find it, you'll be the first one I send any local barley towards your way, man. That's for sure. That because I'm more of a super fan for Lecheg. If the profile, I love my 18, I love my 10, I love every Lecheg I've ever touched. I'm a huge Toblemore fan in general. They do a good job with their whiskey, I think. Probably going to get a little back into the show. People are on a little book like cringe, not cringe, binge, I should say. The New Lock Gomer older whiskey. Okay, that explains why. Samuel Cass, good to see you, man. It's been a long time. Glad you stopped by. We're having a little chat just about whiskey in general. Um, and let's check this 1819 and older on the shortlist bottles, 200 Canadian. Yeah, big time. The sherry peat combo is tasty, but it's like a shameless flavor, max like a burger with a pile of extras. That's delicious, but dumbs down. I really appreciate subtlety in whiskey. Now, I will not even try to argue with that. He's right, and I do appreciate. And a good example of this is the Toblemore 21, and it does have a mezzanine like back into it, but just as a basic whiskey without a lot of frills, it's almost perfect. It's really hard to get around that. The Lecheg 18 I had. What was the cask on that? But I mean, it does goes to show that I can appreciate a straightforward, peated whiskey, but I would rather have the straightforward whiskey without the peat because if I have peat, I don't like basic straightforward peat that much unless it's really heavily peated like an Octomore. Um, like the Bunnahabhain Choichek just didn't really do much for me. The second release of the Choichek, the Hada, that one was much better in my opinion because I didn't like the straightforward peat. That was all there was. If I like if a straightforward whiskey, I love like the Ball Blair 83. That's a great straightforward ex bourbon whiskey. No frills, no craziness. It's just damn old and damn good. I mean, I will agree with you on that. But if I have peat, I like my peat with something else too. I just got a lot Gorm 21. I bet that's glorious, man. I would hope. What'd you think? Did you like it? Did you open it yet? Side by side the Seneg and the Ugadal. Prefer the Seneg even with Lord. That's surprising. You preferred a Seneg to the Ardbeg Ugadal. That is surprising, but it makes me think that you probably like a more savory dram than a sweet dram, Travis, because I get the Seneg. I like it, but I have to be in the mood for like a Longmorn 16 or a Holland Park Fire, something very savory, not sweet at all, very kind of spicy. That real dry Oloroso kind of feel is what I got from that. But local barley 9 better because it was richer, heavier mouthfeel. Yeah, but more bourbony. That's the one I think I had along with the 10, and I'm not saying it wasn't bad. It was just wish, and this isn't just a Springbank thing. This is like I like my peat with something else for all distilleries. Like if you give me the Ardbeg 10 versus the Ardbeg Ugadal, I'm going to take the Ugadal all fucking day compared to the just a basic 10. And that goes for the Ano. I like the Ano better than the 10. I like the Corey better than the 10. Same thing with the Glenmorangie 10. I like the La Santa and the Quinta Urbana a hell of a lot better than the 10. It's not just the age; it's the you know the distillate. But the Delany 15 I appreciate, even though it doesn't have anything else in it for the basic whiskey, but it's not peated. And I think that's what I'm trying to get at is if it's got peat in it, I want something else in it besides the peat. At least give me a high peat content where it's like an Octomore. That's all I'm saying. Give me something else. That over 60%. But okay. First fill sherry peat bomb. Wow. Ooh, a Lafroig 20 year. Oh, jeez. Log of 121. You're killing me. He thinks it comes off a lot younger. I'm surprised. That to me was a 17-year-old whiskey. I got the 17 years out of the full volume. I did not get that out of the Springbank. So to me, it did not taste like a young whiskey. But I know some of you guys get a lot of like green banana and some of these weird notes off of young whiskey. Thankfully, I don't get that kind of stuff. But I do sense a young whiskey when it doesn't have the profile maturity. That's for sure. So I have a Toblemore 15. I bet that's really good, man. I've only had a sample of the 19. I only had a Seneg once, but absolutely want to try it again. Yeah, I would still go for the Ugadal before the Seneg. And I like the Seneg a lot, but I have to be in the mood for something really savory. Are you sure they had the 10 year and not the 9? Yeah, I'll go find it. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back, guys. All right, I will tell you exactly what bottle it was because I don't throw my Springbanks away, as you can see. Let's see. This one is 57.3. I'll try to tell you what version of this is. This came out when there was a 9 year and 2 10s, and I believe this was the first 10. Okay, here we go. This one's the barley source is Westback Farm. Barley type is Belgravia. It was distilled in 2007, bottled in 2017, and was 9,000 bottles. Came out of Pacific Edge Imports in California. 10 year, 57.3. You could see that I kind of enjoyed it. Oh, there's a little bit of I might have to have a little nip there. I don't want to rub it in, guys, but there's whiskey in here. I'm going to have to have a sippy. Oh, can't get much of a nose out of that, but I can get a little sippy, maybe at least a little taste of what's there at the bottom. Hmm. Wow, that's good. It's spicier, but yeah, it's just I just remember going through that bottle and thinking it's good. I just don't see the crazy hoopla that came along with finding it, procuring it, going through the motions. I mean, but I'm not the market of this bottling. I'm not the target market, and I'm fine with that. Some people like their peat with nothing else in it, no frills, no. They just want it straightforward up in their face, and that's cool. I, I definitely can understand that, but it's just yeah, it's first release of the 10. That's 30% sherry cast, and you really can't miss it, in my opinion. Wow. I just I, I don't know. Maybe what is is it supposed to be Oloroso in this, or is it PX? Tell me that at least. If it's PX, that's probably why I missed it. I if it's low amounts of PX, I will probably end up missing it more than I will at an Oloroso. But I thought this was a Oloroso on the finish, right? Tell me if it was Oloroso. I'm just kind of curious. But anyway, let me go back. Ooh, get a new batch of Sineg dark sherry casks used. Ah, yes, this was a 2015 was the last time I had the Sineg, 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. It's been a long time. Let me go back here. I must have missed a bunch. Jeez. My goodness. Okay, 15. Something about the Sineg. Yep. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Again, oh, again only had a sample of the 12. Yeah, you should get any Toblemore you can, man. I like them. Good to see you there. Bourbon Battalion. Welcome to the channel. Only need to add a Bowmore's manager selection. Ooh, sounds good. Sinek was better all around. More sherry for sure. Peat level good too. I mean, I got the peat in the sherry, but to me the sherry was so savory, very spicy and savory. Kind of reminded me of the sherry they use in that Lafroig oak. It didn't have any sweetness at all. It was. Uh, I don't know. I mean, do get sweet sherry for some time, but and Olorosos too. But to me, the sherry on that was very savory. But it might have been an old bottling compared to what he was talking about new ones. Regular Springbank 10 will destroy 50% Scotch malts in the market. And it's a little low. Yeah, but you're also going to pay 50% more than other Scotch malts in the market too. So unless you're in California, of course. Because it's like $100 for a Springbank 10 here, and to me, it's not worth more than $75 for the Springbank 10. I love it. I will spend $75 on a 10 year, which is crazy. It sounds like blasphemy to me, but I'm not happy about it. Did you try the 17-year? Ooh, first fill. I take a Springbank regular 10 over McKellen 21. Balvenie. I mean, I don't think McKellen even. Do they even have a 21? They have an 18, I know, but I'm not sure about a 21. Balvenie 21. The port is 250. That port's not bad though, man. Especially if you get the high ABV version, I would take a high ABV version of the 21. I think over the Springbank uh, 10 for sure. Even the regular port would, man. I would the 21. I would take over the 10. I'd have to say, but Signet you can get for 180. I don't know. I don't think it's worth 210 or whatever they asked for it nowadays. But when it came out, it was like around 160, 180. I think that 180 is worth it. But I don't know. Not a huge Glenmorangie fan, by any means, but if you're talking about notes and complexity and flavor, it's that hell had a hell of a lot more than to me than that Springbank local barley 10. That's for sure. But I mean, the ABV helped a lot, but that's really all. Maybe it was just I don't know. It was a bit frazzled, I guess. I don't know. Something was up with that. My first peated was 2018, 2019 Ugadal cheese. I might maybe repeat hit. I can point. Yeah, it's glorious. I'll have to. I'm gonna have to find that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find. I'm gonna have to find the a new Sineg. Get an old bottle of Ugadal. It's funny. You're telling me get the new Sineg until you get the old Ugadal. It's got some good. I like it, but I know some people aren't. This is all what you like, what you don't like too. Is a big part of it, but not what it was highlights the issue. Yeah, the older ones were great and had a way older whiskey than the better because the new ones are harsh. I've heard of that one, but I've never tried it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try to get my hands on that. Yeah, it's not. No, I'm just talking about like the 2009 Ugadal I had was pretty damn good. I have to say. And I had it again in 2013, 14. Still damn good. I haven't had it in a long time. Some of the new stuff might not be near as good, but I'm just going by what I remember. Wow. Ah, you guys are funny. I mean, I love the craft. Don't get me wrong, but man, you guys are not making them lower the prices anytime soon with the way you guys are talking about some of this stuff. I wasn't impressed either with the Seneg or Moncure Bay. Yeah, I'm not a big Moncure Bay fan either. Like some people love the Moncure Bay and swear up and down for it. Just not my style of whiskey. I like the Seneg a bit, but I do love the Loch Gorm a lot more. And the red wine, the original cast strength, is one of my favorites by them. Even the mess, the Amberg, the port, that was really good too. But that was the first release, yeah. The last excellent Loch was the 2016 when it was still young. I think it's gone downhill since then. Wow. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had it. I think it was around the 2016. That's really sad if it's gone downhill, but I haven't been a huge fan of Bowmore. Yeah, yeah. And I've been trying to collect distillery bottles, and I'm even having a hard time finding a Bowmore worth a damn. I'm thinking I might go with a 27-year. It's a specific French. It's called a Vintners trilogy. It's like a French something 27-year. I'm thinking about that one if I can find a good price for it, but I'm sure I'm asking for it because I cannot stand Rachel Berry's stuff with Ben Ryack and with Glendronach and with it's just it's so painful. It's so painful. Kilhoman did a fantastic 6-year quarter cask. Yeah. Yes. That is peanut brittle in a bottle. It's one of my favorites. Oloroso, Old World European Sherry cask. I'm 90% sure. Wow. That's crazy that it's Oloroso. It, ju- it just wasn't, I don't know. I wasn't even sick when I drank it either. I like local barley, but it is overpriced, but Octomore isn't. True. Now, I think Octomores are a bit overpriced for what you're getting for low aged stuff, like the whole, I mean, the 7.2 that's the casks I can see spending a little more for because they do have specific casks. So if you're talking straight up Octomores that are 7.1, 8.1, those are overpriced. If you're talking about the ones that have the great casks that they spend a lot more time with them and more experimentation, those to me are not overpriced. So it depends on which version we're talking. Heard good stuff about the latest snake. I'm gonna have to pick one up because I'm hearing a lot of you guys talk about that one. That explains it. Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing these guys for like $100 now when it was used to be 75. I mean, I'd take the Springbank 10. Let's say it's a free pour at a bar. I can have any of those. Give me the Springbank 10 over those. And yes, it's Macallan 21 double oak or something. Wow, man. I, I understand where you're coming from. Oh, it reminds me of when I was traveling to Maine and I found this. We stopped at this restaurant. This is not a this is a definite true story. Dustin, you'll appreciate this. Me and the family are driving up to Maine for vacation, and along the way we stopped in a state. I think this was, I want to say Rhode Island, but it could have been somewhere else along the way. I think it was in Maine actually, but one of these restaurants, they uh, they had some scotch, and I'm like, I'm interested in what you guys got. And this is kind of early on my scotch journey. This was definitely years and years ago, so this was probably like a good at least 5 years ago, and so I'm looking at what they have, and I did see they had a Springbank 10 bottle. I'm like, oh, okay. And I already had it before. I knew I liked the cast strength 12 at the time, and I thought, let's go with that because I wanted something that I knew I was going to like and something that, and it was not expensive at all. They not only did they have the Springbank 10, they never opened the bottle, and they never could sell any of it. So when I asked for it, they were surprised because no one ever asked for it. So they popped it open. They gave me a wine glass like this big, and I opened it and they poured, I swear to God, 4 or 5 drams worth into this wine glass. And I ordered some great, I probably ordered some like crab with like some I think it was like a medley of like corn and tomatoes and like a real nice group of different flavors. And I had that glass of Springbank 10. And I swear it was the best meal, best glass of scotch I've ever had in my life. It was everything was perfectly set. The place was perfect. My family was there. Great food. Perfectly brand new bottle of scotch, and it's the Springbank 10 at a fucking restaurant. How in the world can you get any better? But this is back when it was like $70 for a bottle. 85 in Cali, man. Oh, that's just crazy. You don't need them to drop? Well, you must be lucky with all these green banks, man, because I would love for their prices to drop. I want access to the whiskey and I'm okay with paying a bit more, but you want to pay a lot more for it. I don't want UK secondary, but I'm okay with the happy middle ground. Well, to me, 300 is for a local barley is way over. It should be 180, 200 tops. 180, I think, was when the MSRP, and that price, I'm gritting my teeth, but I'll pay it. But anything above that, man, is just nuts. Market Bay just hits a pile of stiff, less expensive competition. Good spring bacon prices are good. Yeah. Indiana, interesting. The cast on Octomore, even bourbon, there's very selective about the cast. They also do very good. There's, yeah, I get that, but unless you are doing the being very selective about the cast, hint Springbank, unless you are doing, a lot of this, and I have to be able to taste it. That is the big difference to me. But I know you get that in your Springbank, and that's fine. And I'm not knocking Springbank. I am a huge fan. I've spent crazy amounts. I've got a 19-year port cask I spent over $300 on. I love my Springbank, and I know that's worth every penny of the 19 podcast Springbank is worth more than 280 that I paid for. It's worth probably 480. But with all that said, the local barley to me is so basic. It just didn't have enough going for it taste wise for me. I don't know. I just didn't get it. Glad to hear you call that out. Verified as a firefighter in distillery. The glass just ruined, and now Ben Reich ruined, and now what's happening, Glendronic. I'm the same way, man. I don't like her craft deal. I don't like where she's been. I don't like where she's going. It's funny because when I first heard about her and what happened at Bowmore, I was kind of like, well, that kind of sucks. But I gave her the benefit of the doubt. And I thought, well, with Glenjornik, she's not going to do the same kind of stuff. But here we are, sure enough, 4 or 5 years later, and it's the same bullshit. And I am going to call her out for it too. And she better, hopefully, somebody over at Brown Foreman, and this is in Louisville of all places too. It's really irks me. I'm hoping that these guys and Brown Foreman will get their heads out of their ass and do the right thing when it comes to crafting. Her defense, the 15 she blended is good, and her second cast strength was drinkable. And you give me a hell of a time, and you're gonna give her that kind of a deal, Dustin. I see how you are, man. Scraps from the table. If she'll move on to ruin more distilleries, she's a tornado. It's very, 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 very scary. Then the problem with her is that she just brought into distilleries to accept the corporate plan to maximize profits. Yeah, I mean that's the thing with her. She's probably good at making money for a distillery, but to me, it's not even. I mean, it's like a musician. Do you just want to sell a shitload of albums, or do you want to actually make good fucking art? To me, if I'm an actual musician, if you're an actual whiskey crafter, you want to put out a fucking good product, not just something you can mass produce at 40% with a shitload of coloring and chill filter the hell out of it and just get it out like your White Walker bullshit. No one wants that. I don't know anybody that wants it. I don't even want to fucking mix that shit. 180. Yeah. Well, you're saying pounds. I'm talking United States dollars, which would be like about $100. So yeah, 100 pounds is probably about right for the exchange rate there. So quantity and volume over looking after us. Yeah, I hold you to a higher standard. I appreciate it, man. I'm trying. I'm trying to make you guys as happy as I can without, I don't want to lie to you. I'm trying to get there. I'm trying the juice. I'm investing in the juice. I want to like it more, and I'm going to buy more bottles of it. These prices for spring bake just really pissed me off. I'm just hoping that they come down just a little bit, for God's sakes, and stop going up every time they get a chance to. By Foursquare, oh, that is scary. I might take these LBs over Springbank 21s. No, I think Dustin's the crazy man. He's talking about taking local barleys over Springbank 21. Next thing he'll be saying he'll take the LBs over the 25, and then he's on smack. Yeah, exactly. It's 10 years. I mean, he's going to come back, I guarantee you, and talk about the cut of the distillate. He's going to talk about the selection of the casks they're using, but I just did not get those. I think that's what, honestly, I'll be honest with you. I think what got me on this, Dustin, was I can't put a reason on it. I don't know if I was having a bad month. I mean, I went through the whole bottle. I just did not get the sherry notes that I was wanting out of it, and maybe it. I'm the only thing I could think of is maybe I don't know why. I just don't I'm trying to figure out why I couldn't take the sherry out of it. It's just, I mean, if it was just a bad dram, it'd be different. But I went through the whole freaking bottle, and I had a little bit of buyer's remorse for even spending 180 on it. To be honest with you, I thought it was a little overpriced at 180. I know you guys would give your left testicle for this now if it was a full bottle, but I just did not understand the hype and the craziness that people got in behind it. But I'm sure people think I'm crazy for loving Ardbeg as much as I do. And this 19, this Trifon 19, even though it's not, over 50% ABV, it's got great craft going on in it. I love the notes I get off of it. It's got awesome tropical. Peat's still going, even for 19 years, and usually peat doesn't linger on for that long unless you get lucky or a really good, offering. Wish it did have a little heavier mouth coat though, and the 46.2 is what's killing it. But I mean, and I'm not a huge lime fan, but the lime notes I'm getting with this, the combination of the brininess, the maritime notes, the tropical notes. I love the brininess on this. Seaweed. Hmm. Do wish it had a little bit more of smoke, darkness, maybe, to the flavor, but that's why they charge you an arm and a leg for the 20 something. That is a step up from this, but not bad at all, man. I could drink that every day. I find the local bars would be a little blah for me, also for the price. 12 cast strengths over. Yeah, I have to say I'm with Cohen on that one. Great 21s are better than any 25s. Wow. I'm not the biggest 25 fan. I have 3 bottles. Jeez. If you ever get really interested in selling one of those at a great price, please let me know. I would kill to try it. I've never tried. Um, the oldest spring make I've ever tasted is the 19. I don't think I've ever had the 21 or the 25. Those. That's my bucket list bottle is the 21 for myself at some point. It's like $700 though, man. It's nuts. It's just crazy when you get. I mean, yeah, I see the same thing about Highland Park's 25 price is asinine. It's fucking crazy. Um, I go back to the burger thing. It tastes nice, but it must have been a huge money on a burger. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We can go back and forth in this all day long because a lot of this is subjective, guys. On the whole, I can see where Dustin's coming from, even though I disagree with what I get out of it. If I got what he got out of it, I could definitely say I justify the price on this. But the Impex 25s, ooh, is that an independent bottling of some sort? What is the Impex 25? I think that's the cask releases they do on Kilhoman's. I've heard of the Impex in that regard, but I wish I could actually discuss it. Possible to buy the stuff in the UK. I wish I could get 25 for 700. I thought that's what they were going for. Maybe I'm thinking about the 21. Let me see what I see these for. If I can find one. Let's see. Let's get out of that. Spring Bank 21 first. 600 ish. Okay. That's the 21. No, 25. Oh, yeah. What I say? 7. Yeah. This is more. A grand. Wow. A grand for that bottle. That is nuts, man. A 25. I mean, you get a Bunnahabhain 25, even and it's overpriced at $700. I mean, my God. But it does get a 92 out of 100. Jeez. 4.5 out of 5 on cumulative score. But the average price is $1,200, man. That's just crazy. That is crazy. Ugh. 4 to 5, 21s. Yeah. That is nuts, man. I could find the 21 for 369 again. Well, if you could find that, please let me know, man. I'll buy that all day long. Independent company of whiskey. Okay, because when I've seen the Impex release like single cask, single barrels of Kilhoman stuff here, but I've never seen Impex of a different distillery deal. Hmm. They make a lot more, but not having 25 is pretty 25. Good point. Good point. Rarity is definitely there. That's one thing Springbank can. I guess if you want to argue, see now you're making your case to me. The since they are so crafty at Springbank, the rarity of what they're putting out makes it tough to not justify some of the pricing that they do. But man, it's pain. It doesn't make it any less fucking painful. Farkless 25. Oh, that. Yeah, I don't know if I would go. I don't know if I go that. I don't know if I bring up that bottle, man. That one is for a 25 year. Even I mean, it's like usually 250 American here, and even with that to 150, I would be like, I don't know. 150 is about as much as I would probably go. But they're okay. If you got to be in the mood for that sulfur, man, that's the thing with the Glenfarclas 25 to me. It's got a bucket of sulfur. That's the catch with the Glenfarclases versus the Glendronics. I mean, one thing Rachel Berry does do well, she doesn't give you sulfur, thank God, in the Glendronic area. But that's the only good thing I can say about what they're doing over at Glendronic right now is they don't have sulfuric sherry trams. 130 it felt ripped off. Wow, yeah. They were selling it for 250 around here for quite a while. Yeah, he was. I'll smack talk a little bit too. I mean, when I first had it, I was like, "Oh, okay." I thought it was a decent price for a 25-year-old because it was so cheap. But then after and sulfuric notes didn't bother me as much in my s- journey early on. The more broad differences of sherry I have, PX and Oloroso and other ones, and then getting the sulfuric stuff now I'm not as big of I want to say I'm still a fan. I'm not as lenient on sulfuric stuff as I used to be. So with that said, the Glypharclas 25 has a bit of that going on in it, and it's funky. You know, some people might call it like a Dunnish kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, I'd say it's definitely more on a sulfuric note than an actual good note, being like a antique feel. It has more of a sulfuric feel than I can actually now differentiate the two, where I'm getting a good old note versus a sulfur not so good. Like a Bowmore 15 Darkest. At first, I was like, I kind of like the funk. It's good, blah blah blah. And then I'm thinking, okay, now I've had 5 6 years down the road, and now I'm looking back now at the Bowmore 15, and I'm like, sheesh, man. I mean, I've seen some places charge crazy amounts for it, $90 to $100, way overpriced. Should be 75 at the most. And drop of water. It's a good dram, but it's not near as good as I thought it was when I first was going down the road. We'll put it that way. And I felt the same thing about the Glenfarclas 25. It was good, but not so much after you've gone down the road a bit. 125 and didn't bleed as much. Yeah, I mean that. If you find it for 150, I'd say it's worth. It's definitely worth a trigger pull just to try it, but yeah, Bowmore turned into one of the crappiest distilleries out there. Once a great distillery, been right were great with Billy Walker, but now nothing. Glentronic to Farrell. It's really damn sad. I'd say the only crappier distillery to me than Bowmore is Dalmore, as far as straight up distillery bottles, because of the thinness, the coloring, and what kills Dalmore to me versus Bowmore on the crappiest distillery crap is the price is at least Bowmore's are still cheaper than Dalmore's when you want to get down to it. On an 18, you can get a Bowmore 18 for 130. You gotta, I mean, unless you get lucky like I did, you gotta go like 210 for a Dalmore 18. That's not even close, not even remotely close worth that kind of price. Not even close. I only buy a first full sherry family cask Glenfarclas. Yeah, but the unfortunate thing about that, Stephen, is you have to shell out $1,000 to get a family cask worth of damn. You have to literally shell out like over $500-600 to get it. That's the pain. I just distill it. Yeah, there's some good bummer out there, but it's all especially hard finding releases. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That 27-year Vintner, that new one that they did. That's the only good, worth it 200-ish bottle I think I've seen and heard that might be worth trying to get a bottle of, because I definitely want to get a nice bottle of Bowmore Independence, because there are some really good independent bottlings of Bowmore out there, but not so much of the basic distillery unless you do go to the 70s or 80s, like the really old school bottling deals. But that's so sad, man. I wish that people that I mean, I know they didn't want to make money. Making money is not the problem. It's how greedy are you going to be to get money, and how much money do you need to be happy is really what it's kind of about. I'm glad there's some places out there like Daft Mill so far, Armaturin, Ardma, I can't even say it, Ardmerkin. That's Aldolfi's new distillery, I believe, right? I think they just bought or just developed the Ardmerkin stuff. They're pretty good. Kings Barnes is a decent new one, but um, hopefully the craft doesn't die with a lot of this stuff. We've got to plan a night and do a spring bait night together. That'd be cool. I'm excited about a spring bait night. It's been way too long since I've had a good spring bait, as you can tell. I haven't even had any in a while. I'm talking about the official releases mostly. On the Bowmores, probably. Oh, the on the Glenfarclas, I think you mean. I didn't know they had Glenfarclas official releases. Okay, maybe those are cheaper. That sounds good to me. I'll take you up on that, Dustin. Yeah, 60 pound, $125 American dollar whiskey. I hear you there. Whether by Glenelg, Glentronic, or Balvenie over Glenfarclas. Yeah, I agree. In this order, I would go out of all one, two, three, four distilleries. I would go with the Glenallachie first at this point. Then I would do a Balvenie. Then I would do a Glentronic. Then I would do a Glenfarclas. I'm not talking about specific bottles, just in general class of distillery, what they're churning out on a daily basis now. Oh, but the Balmore Fish Shields. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's just once you've had that, and then once you've gone around to all these other distilleries, all these options you've got, and then you go back to the 15 darkest, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It'll take you like 5-6 years, but once you've tasted 5-6 years of whiskey and you go back to these guys, you'll be like, wow, this is not near as good as I thought it was when I had it. Did you and Muser get into that 17-year that he has? 17-year what exactly, Madeira? See. We had a Deanston something or other, I think, but I can't remember. Let's see. Let me do a quick search on something, and I can tell you if he did that. Let's see. If I do this, doing a fancy search here, just hear me out for a second. Sorry about the camera shakies. Here, if I could type with a damn too. Madeira. Madeira. Come on. Madeira. There we go. Madeira. Didn't we do Glen Scotia? No. We had the 12 and 20. I don't I don't know if that was one of them. I have to go back and try to find it. Yeah, good at Pinot Parent is freaky, crazy expensive, but in no hurry to do so. I hear you there. Old box Macallan 12 versus Glenfarclas 25. Old box Macallan 12 year, I would say, would beat the Glenfarclas 25, and I would give a guess because the old box Macallan 12 probably doesn't have the amount of sulfur that the Glenfarclas 25 has in it. I guess those prices are looking for other islanders, so especially independent Lafroigs, yeah. Springbank Madeira. No, I didn't know he had a Springbank Madeira, man. I would have remembered that. Um, I can let's see. Let me do a quick look here. I can definitely tell you that the only Springbanks I'm pretty sure have been select. I do Springbank. I mean, I've done a good number, but I don't remember there being a Madeira. We've done the 15 rum cask matured. We've done the 19 port single cask. We've done the 12-year Burgundy. We've done the 15-year basic 15. Not also, along with the rum. We've done the local barley 10. Was that all the Springbanks that we've done? I know I did a 13 green, which is a really good one too. I like that 13 green. Um, we did the 12 cast strength. I know we did at some point. We did the 14 bourbon wood. I never had a Springbank Madeira. I'd love to try it though, man. That would be like beautiful because I love Madeira. He does not like Madeira. If he does have some still, he should give me some because I would be all over that. And I know he's not a huge Madeira cask fan like I am, so I get a kick, I get a kick of watching us figure out what the hell we're talking about in the chat. It's not easy sometimes, man. If you dig around, you can still find a couple of independent Lafroigs. Yeah, a 12 Macallan versus 25. Let's see. If you think you like that 25 Glenfarclas over the old Macallan 12, man, I'm gonna be worried about you. We'll see though. Probably the best value I've done. Batiki Whiskey Company Isla. Wow, 25. It's Ardbeg. Got it for 160. It's just a 375 milliliter. Wow, that sounds badass, man. 25-year-old Ardbeg independent for 160. Even at 375 milliliter, man, that's damn good, I'd say. Ooh. Slays great mini quality whiskeys. I imagine I'm paying the Macallan 12. It's one of the better modern Ardbegs he's had. That's funny. The Farkless 25 is drinking great tonight. Oaky and grapey sherry. A lot of sulfur, not so much sulfur on it. Any sulfur detected? I always tried to not get at that note, but uh, you know, if I could, if I'm not in the mood for it, but on some drams, man, it's hard to escape the sulfuric properties on some of these. But to me, sulfur, if I'm in the mood for it, is good. But if I'm not, it can really kill a dram, and I think that's why I was kind of harsh on the Farkless 25 and the Bowmore 15 Darkest and some of these and a decent 20 Oloroso. These really overly sulfuric ones are a bit, I don't know, overly sweet. Well, I like overly sweet, chewy. I like chewy. It depends on the mouth coat. Could be good. Kind of young. I mean, it's 12 years. Sounds like you're bitching about nothing. I agree about the Lefroy. I'm a fan of the SMWSs, but they've been going up and up. Yeah, that's the pain. But Tiki are doing some great stuff in the rum range. Yeah, I don't any at all, but I've never gotten it on this bottle. On the sulfur, I don't any at all, but I've never gotten it on the bottle of the Glenfarclas 25. No sulfur. Huh. I've had. I'm trying to think if it was just one bottle or did I have it multiple times. I did have it on two occasions. It wasn't my own bottle, so I'm gonna get my own bottle, and I'm going to. I need a 25 Farkless anyway, to be honest with you, as I have a 17 was my up there as my showcase Glenfarclas that I've had over the years of my own, but I need to get my own 25 just to have it before I venture off to some independent Glenfarclases and find the mother load great dram that I'm looking for. Okay, there is some sulfur here, but it's blended into an oak and it's so mellow. You'd have to be really sensitive on this bottle. They are known for batch and consistency. Yeah, that's another thing that kind of irks me with some of the Glenfarclases and the some of the other stuff that's more batch centric, but actually get that matchstick on the Macallan 12 off note. I'm surprised you get the matchstick on the 12 versus the Glenfarclas 25 because that matchsticky note is really heavy to me on the Farklases usually, but huh. Mm. Oh, I gotta have more of this 19. I love Ardbeg. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It's that briny combination with the peat and the beautiful tropical fruit, the coconut, the savory notes, sharp breads, sweetness is there, saltiness, brininess, maritime stuff's there. Oh, so I wish one thing it doesn't have. I wish it did have is more of like either give me either dark chocolate or white chocolate or milk chocolate. It doesn't have any chocolate, surprisingly, on this finish. If it had like a white chocolate with the pine, and that sounds crazy. Probably some of you guys are probably thinking this guy's nuts. But if it had like a white chocolate with the pineapple, oh, that would be awesome. But I'm the type that likes pineapple on my pizza too. So there you go. I love pineapple. That's why I like the Glenlivet 12 a lot. Really, as far as my basic. When I got into Scotch, I love the tropical notes on some of that stuff. Maybe the 25 needs to sit it for a year or two after being open to be good. Bean bourbons usually need to sit it a few months. That's true. That this does happen a lot. It's got a lot of oak. It's a ton of oak, but well, side by side tonight, I'm taking the Farkless over the Mac. Huh. That said, I don't think the 12 does well in head-to-heads due to the 43, the youth. Well, I mean that's the thing. I think some of this depends on what you detect as a person when you're dealing with whiskey. Like to me, I think I don't get the youth in the whiskey as much as I do get like certain notes that might be what I might think is of off, like the sulfur, because I detect some major sulfur sometimes in that, as I did with the Deanston 20 and the Bowmore 15 Darkest. Those three are the most sulfuric drams that come to mind, and a Glen Turret that I've had before. That was a Gordon McPhail bottle, but with that said, huh, I think some of us are lucky to get certain notes that we'd like to get, and some of us are not so lucky with notes that we don't like that we get, and that affects a lot of what we're talking about. I'd like, I still like, I'd still likely pour the Mac as a fresh pour. Yeah, Ardbeg. Damn, I need another bottle of any Ardbeg. I hear you, man. I love my Ardbeg. This is at least 3 years old and under halfway. Wow. Well, there you go. McKellen is all fake reseasoned sherry cask. Wet down a cask and pour the new make in there as their philosophy. Well, all? That's a big statement, man. I'm not a huge I'm not a Edrington supporter by any means, but I do like some McAllen stuff, man. I mean, some of the some of those editions, like the edition two, they had some crazy casks going on that didn't seem like fake. I mean, they could have been reseasoned in some fashion, but they were like some specialized um, that Harrah's sherry they were using. There like five different types of stuff going on. I definitely taste the immense amount of sherry that was going on. I like that edition two bottle a whole lot. I don't know, man. I mean, the 18, it's way overpriced. I do think that it's instead of 320, it should be like 250. But you know that I will say that McKellen's overpriced. I'm not sure if I agree with is everyone else. What does anybody else think about the casks? I thought McKellen did a decent deal on the cask selection sometimes, but I don't know. Yeah, sure, mature, not seasoned. You have to go into the delis and small shops that have bottles. Yeah, pasted on Google. Oops. We massively agree on the decent 20. That's a far in the class. Yeah, it's way too sulfuric. Definitely, 25 needs to be open to age. It gets better at time, much better. Okay, well, oh man, I got to share this with you. I went looking for my Ardbegs like Louise. It turned out I had left three Ardbegs in my old apartment. Oh, dude, come on! You left three at an old apartment. This committee release black. Shame on you. The drum, okay, even if it's cast strength or uh the committee release or the limited release, I still agree with you there. The drum I would leave behind. 2019 Supernova, I never tried that one. I was lucky enough to have the 2009 Supernova, the first Stella release, and that's badass. Like it, love it all day. I wish I still had more left. I drank the last bit of that stuff not too long ago. That stuff is awesome, but I'd like to try the 29. I mean, I like the Supernova that I've had before. I've had the 9 and one other release. I think it's 2015. I thought that was pretty solid. I like the committee release black. I know we disagreed on that one, but we're in total agreement on the drum, man. They were definitely matured, not seasoned. A broken clock. A broken clock is right twice a day at McAllen. Wow, I can't even hardly say that. Never tried them, but always got that feeling. Yeah, I think it's seasoned casts. I think the seasoned McAllen casts are crap now. Yeah. Oh, I such like a fiend. Problem with those shops, and yeah, shipping to the states. I found 15 different places that do ship, though. Sometimes it's tough to find. Man, I've been having a hell of a time trying to find certain bottles recently. The black and drum can die, but the 19th Supernova made me nearly cry. Yeah, I have a question for you, Dustin. Now, you probably can't tell me because you probably were so pissed about the drum that you didn't pull the trigger on the Scorch. But did you have the limited and committee of the Scorch, and what were your thoughts on both? I had both. I did not agree with Eric on his um, version. I think of what he thought of them. I'm curious what you thought if you had a chance to try uh, that one. Glentronic was unchill filtered, and McKellen didn't make good whiskeys. Yeah, that's back in the old good days when McKellen made good whiskey and Glentronic was unchill filtered. That's exactly right. Uh, I have the CR Scorch. Did you open it? And did you try the limited? And what did you think of both? McKellen is the Scotch, what Blanton's is the bourbon. Not really interested in either. Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm just speaking for myself, not speaking for anybody else. When it comes to McKellen, no, McKellen is not. To me, I'm speaking for myself. To me, McKellen it is overpriced, but to me, it's a lot better craft than Dalmore and Bowmore and other distilleries like that. Yes, they have their issues. Yes, it's way blown, overdriven marketing nonsense half the time you're dealing with Macallan. But with that said, when you get through the fucking crazy ass bottles, you get to the actual juice, most of it's not bad. I mean, the Rare Cask Black is one of my favorite whiskeys I've ever had. That's the Rare Cask is a basic 300 bucks. That one I'm not too much as keen on. I thought was okay. It's not worth $300, but the Rare Cask Black travel retail exclusive one they got with the smoke and the peat. Oh man, that one is pretty damn nice. I have to say. Um, I think that one's 48% too. Let me take a quick look. I'm not saying, pay crazy amounts of money for it. If you found it for 300, I would definitely jump all over it though. Macallan Rare Black. What is that? That is 48% exterior European and American oak. It's got a really nice level of smoke in it, I remember, and a hell of a lot better than the regular rare cask black. The black is the one to get if you're going to go down that road. Now, I will agree. If you can get a deal on Macallan, then go for it. If you cannot get a good deal on it, skip it. Get a Glenelg, something else that's a lot better price. Had it side by side with the non-committee release brews, very similar. I could see where you're coming from on that, Dustin. It I rather liked the committee release for the Scorch. For to me, the first out of the uncorking experience to me was a lot different than even the second and beyond experience. The first crack of the bottle was outstanding. I got like strawberries, raspberries, white chocolate, all these great notes, but the oxidation killed that bottle. Where when I tried it with malt when he was doing his review and I was sipping side by side, I wasn't getting any of the notes I was getting the first time that I opened the bottle. So it's weird. Like the first time I scored it, I would have gave it a really good high score. The second time I had it, I would have dropped it a bit, but it still would have been decent score. Hell of a lot better than the drum. That's for damn sure. Did I open it? Well, I mean, you probably don't you collect whiskey too on the side where you sell bottles? I thought you did that too. I had the CR Scorch and enjoyed it more than the last few CRs. However, I heard that it drops off quickly. Exactly. That is exactly what happened to me, Steven. The first you saw my review on it, and I stand by the review. The first the first couple drams out of it were pretty damn good. And I'm with Steven. I enjoyed it a lot more than a lot of the other committee releases, but it did quickly drop off as soon as I opened it. And I'm an Ardbeg fanboy, and if I tell you that it's an issue, you can trust it's an issue. But not knocking Ardbeg. I'd much rather deal with them than any of these other distilleries we're talking about, i.e., E.G. Macallan. We all like to grab a Macallan, but the 18 up to 95 was a lovely whiskey, very good sherry whiskey, preferred above all competition. Yeah, I mean that's why they're charging their prices now today. That's the thing. It does lose something, but it's still good, man. Yeah, that's true. It's true. Overall, I like the Scorch the most since the Groove's pretty okay with it. Ardbeg was okay, but yeah, I'm the same. Like the Ardbeg was reverse. Like when I first cracked it, I'll be honest with you guys, I was like, they're charging money for this. This is crazy. But it got better with oxidation. It got better with time on the Ardbeg. First crack, I gave it like a 2.75 out of 5. I was like, and I way overpaid. I paid like 280 for that shit. That was crazy price. Way overpriced. And that was like that was the initial way overpriced. Even at 200, I thought it was a little high. Um, But when I saw what it became after some oxidation, I'm like, I'm actually cool with this bottle. It's not worth. It's not even near worth 280, and 200 is even too high, I think, for that bottle. Yeah, the Supernova man is a tasty, tasty Ardbeg, I have to say. Especially that 2009, Dustin. If you ever have a chance to get that, jump all day over that one. It's great. I would take a McKellen over Bland's all day. But and it's not 200 for a bottle like 60 like Blanton's is. Yeah, isn't McKellen the 18, which is 350 now? McKellen 18 I got for 320, but I have seen it as high as 350 nowadays. It's pretty crazy, and some of the money they're charging for it. Yeah, I saw McKellen 12 sherry oak for 70. That's a good price for for it. If Glendronach can charge 75 here for their 12, McKellen could charge that for their 12. I have to say, because those are the top two pretty much. If you're gonna be basic sherry, looking to see what's what. The idea of the heaven charred oak cast to me was really something I love. Just about a 72, 28 year. Ooh, ooh. Oh, 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 man. Oh, next year. Dustin, you and I both have got to go to Stevens next year for his 50th, man. We've got to go. We've got to go. It's an art peg. He's killing me. You're killing me. No, I don't sell whiskey. Oh, at all. Okay, that's cool then. Well, you deserve the double kowtow for that, my friend. I definitely appreciate the people that don't give in to the secondary market. I knew it was one of three distilleries. Only 2 years of my whisky journey, I've had samples of Macallan Double and Blanton's Gold. Not interested in all the tater chasing. If someone gives me a bottle, thanks. Yeah, oddly, like 96 over 95. Huh. 28 year. Whew. Ardbeg was boring. It's good whiskey for 80 bucks. Yeah, it other than the rye was nice. I just the price tag on that was way too high. It didn't have an age statement. It was I was like, Mickey Heads is going out with this shit. This is depressing. I thought the black. I know you don't like the black, but I thought the black was a hell of a lot fucking better than that bottle ever thought of being. Um, but I know we're never going to agree on that deal. I'll be honest, I'm done buying newer bottles, looking for Dusty's only right now. Yeah, I'm getting to the same kind of thing, man. A lot of these newer bottles, even from trusted distilleries, are not cutting the mustard. Uh, the the taps have been just tapped too much. The fills where there's no. It's hard to find a first fill or even second fill anything anymore. It's really rough. After 10-year-old folks from the 70s at 43, had this choice. Yeah, tasting clubs. We can get our bottles for free. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way to do it, man. If I had the viewership, we'll say I would definitely be all over doing Patreon, trying to get some help on these. But it's very niche, as you can tell. 90s independent bottling, 43%. Yeah, see, that's the go-to. No, $75 American dollars. Well, you're stuck in this pound stuff, man. Double whatever I say, like like double double the well half double it for America, but half it for you. So if I say 70, American dollars, it's only what 30 something pounds, 40 pounds, we'll say somewhere around there. I got Glenelg 10. I think that's the. Let me make sure that's the glory. I mean, I'm always used to the British pound sterling versus U.S. dollar being like double. It's usually what I've always seen it as, and I've since I was little, I'm always looking at markets for some reason. I'm obsessed with weird stuff like that. U.S. dollar to GPB. 72 cents actually. That's actually good, pretty good for the dollar. 72 cents to the dollar, yeah. Okay, so if I say 75, you think 55, 55 Welsh instead of 75 for you. Now I have a black. I might be willing to sell you for a small premium. I like the black. Don't get me wrong, Dustin. I do like it, but once I have a whiskey, unless I absolutely adore it, and and I mean, it has to usually have an age statement. I'm not going to revisit it, even if I absolutely adore it for any amount. Even if it was $100, I probably wouldn't take you up on it. But I appreciate the offer, though. Either way. I'd be down to join your Patreon, Steven says. That's cool, man. I get it. 75 is rubbish. $75, yeah. It's way too high. So we're talking like, yeah, I mean, we're talking crazy amounts for these Maryland prices are just absolutely insane. They're just really insane. Next to Hong Kong must be the most expensive place to buy whiskey. I swear to God. Exchange rate is 61 cents a pound. I saw it I just looked it up. It was 72, I believe. It was a little higher, surprisingly. Y'all are rude as hell. Who quotes USD to win? Yeah, it's 1.4. I always look at it as 1.5, but it was actually surprising. Surprisingly, we're looking at 72 cents to the pound right now, and it changes, pretty pretty regularly. Doesn't seem like it's been. It used to be a lot farther. It used to be like 50, excuse me, like 50 cents. Now it's only 72 cents. So dollar's been making some strides lately. Too many tramps. No excuses. No excuses. Oh Lord. Well, it goes to show that, yeah, I think we're all in agreement. Let's come in and kind of summarize. Wow, man, it's already almost 12. It's crazy. Um, let's just summarize and say, for most distilleries, it's probably in our best interest to go to the dusty, old school rural places that hardly see any action. Go in and see what they have, and pray that you find an old bottle of 10, 20 year whatever it is, and that it's the 2005 version versus the 2021 version. And if you get lucky enough to find a pre 2000, we'll say 15 version of anything, count yourself lucky, and count your lucky stars, because it doesn't happen too often. Yeah. Telex is far from Patreon unless he starts acting like your reviews act like T-Facts. That's what kills me, man. Act like a bourbon flunkies, and you'll have 10,000 followers in 2 months. That's what kills me. I thought, honestly, and I must be naive, that if I came in and and I don't take money from any distillery or any manufacturer or any, if I do it with my own funds, and if I do it where I do try to study up a bit on the stuff and try to, get into, stuff, and I actually, partake, and I actually go through the motions. I go and do, expos when I get a chance, try lots of different things, but stick to a format. And even with the short reviews, I just didn't, I mean, I had a couple shows that got thousands of views. I will say that, when I did an Ardbeg, if I got one early, or if I did the Lagavulin Game of Thrones bottle, for example, that got like 1,000 views. But anything that I thought that has more substance to it, that had more of I don't want to say an intellectual feel to it, but more like, but just more just thought in general went into it. I thought that I would do a lot better than I did, but it's definitely been eye opening. It's been kind of tough. But I don't have any regrets. I had fun. I'm kind of wrapping up the distillery. I'm still gonna do some distilleries on the side, but I have made a pledge to you guys that I'm gonna go ahead and venture out while I'm still trying to dig up some of these old crazy distillery bottles for fun. I'm going to go ahead and move on to independent bottlings, and I'm going to do it right, and I'm going to do it justice. And I'm kind of SMWS has been sending me some fillers to rejoin them. I just don't know if it's worth the crazy price on the shipping and that whiskey. I know I can kind of time it to where it's more cost effective to do shipping a certain way. I just don't know if SMWS membership is worth it when you have El Delphi and some of these other great bottlings that don't charge you extra Cadenheads, Signatory. Is it worth the membership to you guys? I'm curious what you think about that. But yeah, I'll be honest. I'm surprised that I'm still around 400 people that subscribed, but it is what it is. Just poured that scorch. I'm not enjoying it. I'm not surprised, man, because I really think that the oxidation kills that bottle. That's one that you're gonna want to pump some preserve into if you're not gonna drink it fast. If you're gonna sit on it, unless it changes it, maybe we'll get maybe. How many bottles have you guys had? This is a good question for some of you guys. Sorry for moving the camera around again. How many guys have had bottles where you open it and you get an experience and you're like, okay, this has got an issue where I love, actually, no, you open it and you love it initially. And then over time, the next like month to 3 months, you don't like it at all. But then you come back 6, 8 months later and it's back again or it's better again. How many times does that happen in your all's whiskey journey where you open a bottle, you love it, after 3 months, you don't like it so much, and then after 6 to 8 months, you love it again? How many times does that happen, if ever, on your bottles? Because that's going to affect what I tell Dustin to do with this one. Because I'm thinking it might be time just to freaking try to enjoy as much as you can, but there might be that that rally cry from the bottle where it might get maybe better again or even better than before if with some more time. I don't know. Sometimes that might happen. What Mike and I want to do, we're going to do a dram club and charge $150 to $200 a month and give at least 75% of that back in whiskey. That's pretty cool. Okay, I'd like to see where you guys go with this. I'm curious. The whole idea is we're small and it's heck, and we review expensive stuff, so we can be a premium brand. I hear you there. That's where I was kind of going, but it's really tough to do on your own. Even with Eric, it's really tough. It's about being over animated a whole. Oh, it's about being an over animated asshole. Is how you get big viewerships. Wow, man, that's not my nature. I just cannot do it. No, it's. I'm not sure where he went, but no, it's not on that one. No, what's not. Whiskey changes based on what you have before you remove whatever. That's true. Yep. But it does change with oxidation over time, and I'm wondering if that could come back maybe. SMWS works the commercial end of the independent volumes. Yeah, the indie world is a whole lot of the world, but there are a lot of cowboys out there right now. Yeah, that's the tough thing about those guys. I love their bottles. I've had a few myself. I own at least, I don't know. I bought 6 or 7 when I had a membership, and they were all solid offerings. Some I like more than others, like anything else, but they were all pretty damn good. I knew what I was getting. I like their number system. I like the fact that you don't know unless you really want to look it up, unless you have the numbers memorized, like some people do. Um, I do like the aspects of it. I just hate the shipping cost of it. That's the thing. I don't think. I think he meant scorched. Is a good whiskey to follow up sherried sweet whiskeys. Yeah, it's. I would not say it's definitely more on the savory side. We all learned 25 only takes 3 years to be decent. I guess that's the thing. Maybe Scorch will be one of those where you open it, it's great. After a month or so, it's not so great for a while, and then it comes back. That could be it. I'd like to see what you think about that. Maybe the thing with you and Eric, your fan base are us geeks, and you review a lot of younger, cheaper whiskey. Yeah, you're trying to compete with the big guys. Why not get more geeky? Well, I'm thinking that that's where I'm gonna end up, even though that's not where I tried to end up. I think I think I had the misconception, misinterpretation. I had the just being I was just plain wrong, thinking that if I stuck with the distilleries and kind of covered the bases, that I would have a better deal. But now going through them all, especially with the Juras and the Glenmoras and some of the ones that you kind of it's kind of hard to shell out some money on, that it's not really all about the distilleries at all. It's really about, yes, some distilleries have some good bottlings, but there are a ton, ass load of independent bottlings out there that people are more interested in than anything else. And I didn't really, I realized that I just didn't want it to be true. I wanted to find some really good hidden gems, and I do think I did find some going through the distillery, back and forth mode. But I think you'll see things change gradually over time in the next, definitely in this next year. I mean, we're going to finish out some shows before I let you guys go. We're going to be doing the old Pulteney 15 and 18, the new stuff. We're going to be doing a classic. I found them a while back, and they're still readily available. And I know some of you guys are like, "Oh God, there's no way I would even spend that," but you can find it for a lot cheaper now. We're gonna be doing some Highland Park Fire and Ice. That's gonna be a fun show for me, at least. I like getting into those older special whiskeys. Be looking at some Ben Reich Smoky 10 and some Septim Dissim 17 year. We'll be going to Ben Romick after that, doing some 21 and some 10 versus 10-year Imperial proof, as you guys know. We'll doing some Glenallachie 25. That bottle back here, I've been getting into that one a lot. I love the Glenallachie 25, and we'll be doing the 10 cast strength batch 5 with it. Some Glen Grant, we'll be looking at that, and some Ball Blair, the old school Ball Blair stuff. We'll be doing the '05 single cask and the 83, which is that beautiful bottle right there. I finally got my own bottle of that after graciously tasting Stevens. I liked it so much for $400. I thought, you know what? 30, was it 37, 35, 37-year-old whiskey? It's kind of hard to say no to, to that price for that great taste too. Um, I got some the Kergelicke 23 exceptional cask. We'll be looking at Craigenmore 20, Alberfeldy exceptional 20. We got some shows left to do for this year, but by the end of this year, I think you will see me doing more of the independent, specialized, you know, bottlings, focused on independence pretty much across the board, looking for just good whiskey, not just any whiskey I can get my hands on from certain distilleries. That's what makes it really tough. Let me see. Just about what's in the bottle, plain and simple. Yeah, being different. Yeah, gotta go to bed. 2 hours sleep. Thanks so much for stopping by, Walsh. Yeah, we're about to wrap this up. Yeah, if you're not young, pretty in for a post. You just need to bothy and overuse the word interact for your viewership. No, no thanks. The more I drink the scorch, the more I'm back to liking it. Huh? It does grow. It does grow on you, man. I'm happy to join when you taste that Bellbar 83. You're definitely more than welcome, man. No matter what, I'm going to definitely enjoy having you come on board for that one. It does. The scorch smells amazing. I love the. If you haven't seen my review of it, Dustin, let me know what you think of my review of that. I think I did a pretty good job going over all the notes of the nose, the finish, the palate and pros and cons of that cast strength scorch. I think I did, you know, open one of his. Wow, awesome, man. That's very nice of you. Not you can't go wrong with that whiskey, man. It's one of the best whiskeys I've ever had. Period. Period across the board. Ballblair 83 is something absolutely special. And now that I'm acclimated, it's good and well put together. I did see it, but don't remember. Okay. Well, at least you watched it. Didn't have a coronary. If you watched it and you're like, and you didn't go, what the fuck was he thinking or saying, or that doesn't make any sense, or that's completely backwards, then I think I probably did a decent job. But yeah, I'm curious to see what you think of. Leave a comment and let me know what you think of it. If he's drunk, maybe I should wait until you're sober and then you watch and drink one dram with it and let me know what you think. That might be a better option because if you've had too much, you're not going to get all the notes and all the fun stuff anyway, probably. So it might be worth the skip till tomorrow. With that said, guys, thank you so much for dropping by. It's been a really fast 3 hours as usual. I can't believe it's already been 3 hours. I sit down and have fun with you guys every time we do it, and we'll be doing it again. To be fair, you're why I bought Black. You were the one of the people who got me to drink the Scorch. Well, that's I feel bad. It's funny. I feel bad about getting you to buy the black because I know you weren't a big fan. But if I got you to try the scorch and you like it, then at least I didn't do too much of a shitty job. I'm sorry, but I'm not trying. Yeah, the 83 is amazing. I still have a bottle on the stash. Well, why don't you join us for that show? It's scheduled for 9:21 at this time. It might change. Cheers, Steven. That's the schedule at this point. 9:21 for that show. But I'll definitely let you guys know at each week if that ends up changing. Well, Slancha Va now, guys, and I really appreciate you guys coming by and having a dream with me. Dalwhinnie 15, I still stand by. Great Scotch intro. Great having fun with your buddies getting into Scotch. And if you already love Scotch like me, it's something that's great to have. It's great for blending your own Scotch. I think it's good to have. It's it's a it's a Highland. It is on the lighter side, but it's got great sweetness. It's got a great taste. Went with the Glenlivet 12 illicit still after that. I love the way that they went with the 48%, no chill filtering, no coloring, no chill filtration, no 12 years, 48%. I don't really have any negativity to say other than in Maryland it being 70, 75, 70, $73, we'll say, and being 40, 45 in California. You guys can, you know what? the The Ardbeg 19 first batch I love. Never tried the second or third. I can't speak to that. I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard that the other ones might not be as good, but if you can get your hands on the first batch 19, I'd say definitely for 300 or less, pull the trigger. And thanks so much for coming by from Hawaii One, and hope to see you again soon. Go watch Mike and I review the entire Ardbeg 19. I think I'll take you up on that, man, because that is a great lineup to have, and definitely check out Top Shelf Whiskeys. That's Mike and I. Mike and Dustin do some really good reviews on the sides. Love your thoughts on the video. I will definitely check it out, man. Batch 2 is slightly better. Cool. Well, shit, I might have to get another bottle because I do love this number one pretty well. Mahalo, everybody, and see you next week. And hope you guys have a good week. And thanks for joining me for Tasty Tuesday.